These are the schools of the Ivy League. Brown University, Columbia University, Cornell University, Dartmouth College, Harvard University, University of Pennsylvania, Princeton University, Yale University. And this is the Ivy League football game of the week. This week, Yale meets Harvard at the Harvard Stadium, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Ivy League football is brought to you by the Travelers, people responsive to people with insurance and financial service needs. The Travelers, where fairness is good business. GTE, a leader in advanced telecommunications, electronics, lighting, and many other industries around the world. American Brands, Inc., a group of related packaged goods and service companies whose brand names have become household bywords. And by
American Express, cards, traveler's checks, and vacation stores. American Express, don't leave home without us.
Cambridge, Massachusetts, and a capacity crowd, an air of anticipation and excitement. It's Yale-Harvard. There are those, though, who would actually say that preparations for a Yale-Harvard game go all the way back to the first day of preseason practice in August. The records going into this 101st meeting actually are incidental because it is Yale-Harvard, the game. On the day before the game in Cambridge, there is a most uncommon picture that unfolds on the playing fields of Harvard. On this site, in the course of an afternoon, there will be played 30 different games in 5 sports. These games will include more than 500 students from 12 colleges of Yale and 13 houses at Harvard as they engage in battles from co-ed touch football to men's and women's soccer, tackle football and women's rugby, as well as the junior varsity and freshman football games. Some of the players will be talented and others not, but every house or college will be represented and will enter the fray with no less fervor than their varsity brothers. Alumni from both schools left their desks early for a look at the young men who will carry the colors for the next 3 years. The rewards here are friendship and camaraderie, and although there once was a cup for the victorious school, it has been unfortunately misplaced. In junior varsity action, it was Harvard who defeated Yale. In freshman play, it was Yale 10, Harvard nothing. And flying in from Salt Lake City, Utah to see their son Mike play quarterback for Yale, Mr. and Mrs. Curtin. Long before it is time, though, to tape ankles, put on the uniforms, and participate in the game, the gates will open. Cars of every kind and description, some of them classics, will be driven by some of the most famous names. Will quickly fill the field surrounding Harvard Stadium. There are pregame luncheons, and the most traditional of all the Ivy League rituals, tailgating. Because this is Yale-Harvard, tailgating can take on an aura of elegance, even in a parking lot. Linen-covered tablecloths, tastefully adorned with flowers for the season. The menu might include anything from New England clam chowder, hors d'oeuvres to fillets, and so much more. Naturally, with appropriate beverages to ward off the chill. There is camaraderie that has transcended the years, a deep respect for each other and the two institutions involved. There will be those who will be hoarse from shouting during the game, and when it is over, the brothers and sisters of Yale and Harvard will lock and embrace with a hearty job well done. This is Yale-Harvard, what the game is all about. Well, hello, everybody. This is Dick Galliette at Harvard Stadium, and it is filling to capacity and just moments away from this exciting kickoff in this 101st rivalry between these two schools. And, of course, my sidekick during this telecast to bring us the assessment of what's going on during the field during the entire ball game, Upton Bell.
Dick,
Upton,
thank you.
5-3 overalls, but there is a difference.
Yes, there is a difference. I think that Harvard, really, by grace of their ground game, is the superior team coming into the game today, even though Yale has won 3 out of their last 4 and come back in the last couple of minutes to win the game. The big problem with Harvard is, Dick, will Brian White be at full strength? My sources tell me that people say he is all right, but my sources tell me that the knee is still bothering him. So the key to Harvard today is not only their ground game, can Brian White run like he used to in the past, and can Yale's defense stop that vaunted offense?
Well, that'll be the question. And then, of course, out here yesterday with his team running through the workout was Yale head coach Carmen Koza. His team is supposed to be pretty hot of late.
You're the team that's supposed to be on a roll. Would you agree with that?
Well, I sure hope so. We've won 5 of our last 6, and we gave Penn a pretty good football game up until 6 minutes to go, and we've had to come from behind in 3 of our games, and last week was really something special. With 1 minute and 26 seconds, we came from behind to win. So this is a gutsy team, and they're playing awfully hard right now.
You're playing for what would be the Big 3 championship. That's the whole ball of wax right now.
It really is. And, of course, the last 2 games mean so much to not only the players but the alumni and the student body and all the friends that are involved. And the last victory, of course, would really cap our season. It would be a great season for our young men.
Number 7 quarterback for Yale, Mike Curtin, the off-injured star here hitting his big tight end. Number 33, Andy Marwidi, as he weaves his way down the sidelines against Dartmouth. In the Princeton game, Mr. Comeback, as he's known, Mike Curtin again lofting a pass into the end zone to their deep threat, number 82, Kevin Moriarty. The other part of their combination and the only breakaway back for Yale here on the toss, number 26, Ted McCauley reverses his field, cuts his way through a lot of bodies, and scampers 70 yards for a touchdown against Dartmouth.
Well, those are the questions that Yale has to answer this day, Upton. But there is a question that Harvard coach Joe Resnick must be tired of answering by now that has been asked of him all week after that loss to Penn a week ago when he was going for that league championship.
I think it's very quickly, it's their kicking game, and is Brian White healthy? But particularly is their kicking game better than it was against Penn? If it is not, Yale will get good field position, and Curtin has been doing the job.
Harvard Joe Resnick, as we said, when we approached him, answered that question one more time. Can your team rebound from that loss to Penn a week ago now against Yale?
Coach, the obvious question after the loss a week ago where you were going for the Ivy League title, how difficult was it to get the team ready for the game this week against Yale?
That was our easiest job, believe it or not. We came back. Monday had a light workout. Tuesday, Wednesday were super days for us, carried right through the week, and I think we'll be ready. This is always a big game for both schools, and you want to go off on the right note, and a win here carries you through the winter. All those things are important.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights, and of course recruiting rights, all the things that you have to get done over the spring of the year and into the next season. We look at this game as the end of one season and the beginning of another, start of a new season.
Number 7 will lead Harvard in their new season against Yale, and the big question with Brian White is, as part of the Pony backfield, his injury going to be a factor today? He scores here, but will he score against Yale this afternoon? If he's not capable of running, number 14, Robert Santiago, the leading rusher for Harvard and also the leading rusher in the Ivy League, possesses the speed that no other back in this league has. And to round out their backfield, number 33, their workhorse, as he breaks tackles here and hurdles another man. He is the second leading rusher on Harvard and must be effective against the Yale defense today for Harvard to win.
And the member of our crew who is certainly closest to the action all afternoon long is our man on the sidelines, Sean McDonough. Well, we apologize that we're not able to bring you Sean McDonough on the sidelines at this particular moment. We're back up here, Dick Alley at Upton Bell. We're just a moment away from the opening kickoff of this 101st meeting between Yale and Harvard. Upton?
Well, do you think the Bulldog spiked his microphone? I mean, everybody's pulling tricks today, and everybody's waiting for MIT and a lot of other things to happen in this game. It is a tremendous traditional game, but there is a football game to be played, too, on top of the tradition. And, Dick, you and I talked about it briefly in the opening. Can Harvard come back after a blowout at Penn, and can Yale continue on their winning streak of coming back in the last minute or so of each and every ball game they've played?
Well, they went 98 yards in 91 seconds a week ago to beat Princeton. Harvard, on the other hand, has to be able to prove that they can regroup after the disappointing loss to the University of Pennsylvania a week ago in Philadelphia. And now Down on the field, as you see, our officials for today's game, the referee Ronald Hoover and his crew, meeting with the two captains for Harvard, number 88, Steve Abbott, and for 51 for Yale, Martin Martinson.
Charlie Phillips is our back judge. Milt Halstead, our linesman. Dave Brody, our field judge. Jimmy Quirk, our umpire. Sir Colt Watts in the air. Heads be called. It is heads. You haven't won the toss. You have the option for the first half or second half. They won first half option. They will receive. Which goal will you defend?
Defend this end, sir.
Okay. White team. Won and receive. Harvard defend this goal. Good luck to you, fellas.
Well, there you see, there you heard that Yale has won the toss, and there are the standings coming into the game. Penn sits on top, and they are against Cornell today. It would take a big upset by Cornell to knock them off. Harvard would have to beat Yale, and then Harvard would share its third straight Ivy League championship. If Yale should beat Harvard, and then it would be a tie for second place with Harvard in the Ivy League standing. There he is, 20th year of coaching at Yale University, their winningest coach of all time at Yale, Carmen Koza.
And you would have to say he's been through it many times, but each and every time he plays this game, he's got to be as nervous as anybody around. And, of course, today, with his team being underdog, Dickey said earlier in the week that he kind of liked the underdog role. He wasn't kidding when he says that. He likes to come up here to Harvard Stadium as the underdog, not the favorite, because at Yale Bowl, the favorite, when he has been defeated back there in New Haven. And there he is, the man in his 14th season, looking for his 78th win overall, Joe Restic. And there you see his record against Yale. And against Yale in Harvard Stadium, he is 2-4. He hasn't done very well either. One other stat that might be kind of interesting on Harvard's part, they're back on natural grass today. Both they and Yale play on the natural grass, but particularly for Harvard, they haven't won a game on turf. They've lost 5 games in a row, including Penn last week. They just do not play that well on turf. But with this running game on the natural turf, now we'll find out how good they're going to be today, particularly against the two linebackers for Yale, and whether Brian White on this turf is going to be able to get his footing and how that knee reacts early. That's something that we're going to zero in on as we can as they move along early in this first quarter. Well, the two men who will go back there deep in white uniforms for Yale, their road uniforms, will be number 26, Ted McCauley. He can burn. And number 10 is Mike Luzzy. That is Yale's wingback. So 10 is Luzzy, who will be probably on the left-hand side of your screen as Rob Steinberg tees up the football to get ready for the 101st meeting between Yale and Harvard from Cambridge, Massachusetts at Harvard Stadium. A capacity crowd. And as we told you, the deep men, number 10, Mike Luzzy, number 26, Ted McCauley for Yale. 8, Rob Steinberg. Now, we're probably going to have a problem with this wind. We will point out the wind is fierce. Of course, we're probably getting it a lot harder than those people down on the floor of the stadium, but the wind is really blowing up here on the roof. So you're saying we're suffering more than they are. We don't have to throw the football like they do, and that is going to be a big factor for Yale. All right, here we go. Steinberg kick, and it's not deep, but we're underway, and it comes down, comes short, taken at the 15-yard line. And gang tackled down almost immediately was Mike Flannery. He was the up man for Yale, number 45. We have a flag on the play down at around the 16-yard line. And I believe we have clipping already. And remember, this is such an emotional game. There's a lot of things on the line, including Harvard's chance to still have a piece of the Ivy League. And we have clipping on the opening play against Harvard, Dick, it appears. Oh, Yale will be pushed back even further. They did not have good field position to start with, getting it up to the 15-yard line. Oh, the line of scrimmage as they start out will be the 7-yard line, the 8-yard line. And that on the run back. And as you pointed out, Upton, flip on the run back. And number 7, Mike Curtin, trots onto the field, the quarterback. It's all on his shoulders. There you see the rest of the backfield. Klein Coes, Luzzy, Moriarty, and Quinlivan making up the wide for part of the offensive line. First play offensively of the ball game. Yale on their own 8-yard line. McCauley across the 10 to the 11-yard line. Brent Wilkinson, the linebacker on the right side, comes in, the junior from Mount Vernon, Ohio, to make the tackle for Harvard. One of the things that we might point out that there has been a change. Number 43, Paul Spivak, is in the place of Dave Klein, who injured himself earlier in the week, so he will be playing at the fullback position. Pick up a 3. There's, you see, the defensive unit for Harvard.
2nd and 7. Line of scrimmage, the 11-yard line. Kevin Moriarty goes out wide on the right side for Yale. You have Spivak. And you have McCauley, who gets his second handoff and goes straight up to about the 15-yard line. So it'll be about a 2nd down and about 4. It'll be a 3rd down and about 4 for the first down. As Barry Ford, the defensive tackle for Harvard, 6'3", 220-pounder, makes the stop.
One of the things that Carm Koza has said that he would like to control the football because he would like to keep Harvard's ball control team off the field. He does not want to expose his defense early, and he will probably keep the ball on the ground as much as he can.
I'm sure he would like to do that. He knows he can't put it up with this fierce wind as Luzzy goes in motion to the right side on this 3rd down and about 4. On the rollout and throws behind Andy Marweedy, so it is incomplete, and Yale will be forced to punt from deep in their own territory. And the young man who will do the punting is the leading punter in the Ivy League, Hank Eaton, with an average of 39 yards a punt.
We might point out with the problem with the wind, that time Marweedy was open, wide open, in fact, the tight end, as the tight end was for Pennsylvania last week against Harvard, but he threw behind him, and that's how strong that wind is. All it was a shot put to him, and he still missed it.
The line of scrimmage is the 15-yard line, and Chuck Shirey is standing back in single safety for Harvard inside the 50-yard marker, so he's standing in Yale territory. Eaton almost has the block bunt and rolls out of bounds inside the 40. So Harvard will take over for the first time this afternoon in excellent field position at the 38-yard line of Yale.
And we're seeing with that ground attack, we're going to zero in on White. We're going to watch the ground attack. Good field position, the wind in their favor. Casey Smith, the adjuster, almost blocked that punt, and I'm sure anytime they have the wind with them, single safety back there, they are going to attempt to block the punt.
All right, Brian White has Harvard lined up in the eye, and he puts Coyne out there wide on the left-hand side. You have Santiago and Vignali, two of the best running backs in the Ivy League. As Sabara goes in motion, shifts to a wing on the left side. Vignali gets the first call, and he's knocked up at the line of scrimmage by Ardell McKenna, number 56, the linebacker for Yale, the junior out of Chicago. The Harvard lineup, the backfield and receivers, White, Santiago, Vignali, Sabara, Pat Coyne, and Steve Abbott, the captain. The offensive line, Kostakos, Tio, Jensen, Pascucci, and Karen, the All-Ivy, All-America prospect. 2nd down and 10 for Harvard. Line of scrimmage remains the Yale 38. White keeps himself, and he is hit back at the 35 after a pickup of 3. Carmen Alakwa, number 40, Yale's linebacker who leads the team in tackles, in there first to make the hit on White.
I think we are going to see early people giving White a good shot, and particularly Zaneski, number 69, Alakwa, number 40, and 56, McKenna. They are the heart of the defense. Zaneski really in the tradition of the great middle guards at Yale and over-aggressive.
3rd down and 7 now for Harvard. The line of scrimmage, the Yale 35-yard line. The wing on the right, double wing setup for Harvard. Santiago will run back, and White wants to throw. Gets pursuit, looking for Vignali, wide open at the 10. And Vignali is going to score. Touchdown, Harvard.
We're going to see he caught them napping in some ways. Brian White, as he runs off the field, he fakes, comes to his left. He's got pressure from his right-hand side. Now watch him step up in the pocket and throw it to number 33, Vignali, who has beaten his man clearly. Mike Jarkson, number 39 for Yale. That play action and that roll to the left got him wide open, and his back was left one-on-one with Jarkson, number 39. They strike quickly.
That they do. Their first possession, as they did a week ago against Penn. Steinberg for the extra point. It is good. And Harvard takes a 7-0 lead over Yale in the first quarter on their first offensive drive of the ball game. And we have 12 minutes and 19 seconds remaining to be played.
Dick, early factors in this game. First of all, Yale won the toss, elected to receive. Harvard took the win. We are going to take a look at number 69, John Zaneski. They're all middle guard, coming on number 59, Sam Jensen. Now, watch, he gets by Jensen. He gets by his second man. Now he has his hand out on Brian White. This is some of the pressure that was on him, but White makes the throw, which is one heck of a throw. 2 men hitting him from the blind side, and Zaneski trying to pull him down. I'd say so far the knee is reacting all right.
He certainly looks healthy, doesn't he? Well, Harvard has the 7-0 lead. They jumped out in front just as they did a week ago in the game against Penn. Only this time it is home at Cambridge in front of the home folks in D game.
getting back to that win factor, Dick, you wonder, again, the factors as the game goes along, whether in winning the toss, Yale would have been better off kicking off and taking the wind early. Harvard had the wind early.
Well, that answers it, doesn't it? Just take a look at that Harvard flag whipping above Harvard Stadium here. And all afternoon, somebody's going to have to put a finger on the ball because it'll blow off the tee in any kicking situation. And that's what they're doing now as Steinberg gets set to kick off to Yale for the second time in the ball game. It is Luzzy, number 10, and McCauley, number 26, the deep men for Yale, standing in the vicinity of the goal line as Steinberg kicks off for the second time. McCauley takes it at the 10. And he's hit and brought down at the 15-yard line as coming down there, Kent Tarzi made the hit. The cornerback for Harvard made the hit on the kickoff. Excellent coverage.
Well, it is. And the problems that Harvard had last week in their kicking game, their special teams have played very poorly in the second half. Today, so far, with the win, their special teams have been outstanding.
Yale now with their second offensive possession of the ball game. Line of scrimmage, the 15-yard line. That's exactly where they started the first time they had it. Mike Curtin puts Luzzy in motion to the left side. Ted McCauley, he hurdles a man and brought down at the 16-yard line. Defensive end number 12, Steve Anderson, the senior from San Leandro, California, in there to make the initial hit.
We're going to take a look at Ted McCauley, who is their breakaway threat out of the I formation. He is the tailback. He's the deepest back, with Spivak leading. Fine block by Spivak, but the adjuster, Case Smith, makes the play because it gives Anderson, number 12, a chance to come up and make the play. They are coming up close and forcing, looking for the run by Yale, which means they've got to loosen them up a little bit.
They only gained 2, so it is second down and 8 as Murata goes in motion to the left side now, and the handoff up the middle, and a big hole. And Spivak, the fullback, takes it up close to the 30-yard line before Tarzi brings him down, number 85. And Paul Spivak, the senior out of New Haven, Connecticut, a 5'9", 180-pounder who drew the starting assignment a week ago.
All right,
rips
we're
it
going
out for
to take
the first
a look
down.
at what happens from the linebacker position. There are traps. And what happened was Spivak came right over 51, Marty Martinson, but also the guards pulled and trapped Dave Finicos, number 51, who was trapped quite a lot in the Penn game last week. They think that might be a weakness on the Harvard defense.
Line of scrimmage to 29 and hit back at the 30-yard line as the wind really blowing down on that field. Finicos and Bennett team up to make the tackle on McCauley.
Well, we take a look at that front three to front 5, depending upon how they set up their defense. But if there was a weakness with that club last week, Joe Rustic is talking, and they're telling him of whatever he wants to tell him for the next offensive formation. It was in the front 5 of Harvard, not in their defensive secondary.
Second down and 8, line of scrimmage, the 31-yard line. Murata in motion. McCauley just smothered at the line of scrimmage by Brent Wilkinson, number 48 for Harvard. Yale not finding anything going in the middle of that Harvard defensive unit.
Their best chance is the quick opener, is the sprint draw, is anything that they can do inside. Counters that Penn used against Harvard last week. They're going to have to be satisfied with that, but I still think, Dick, as they did in the first series when he missed Marweedy, they're going to have to roll that quarterback, Curtin, and get him out there, even if he just dumps the ball 5 yards, to loosen up that Harvard defense.
Third down and 8 now for Yale at the 32. Listen to you, and that's Kevin Moriarty, but out of bounds, they say, incomplete at the 40-yard line.
We're going to take a look now at Harvard's top defensive secondary that had problems last week. We'll watch it today. Watch them backing up into their zone. In this case, the short man bumps his man. Moriarty, his man, is giving him entirely too much cushion. That's Tarsi, number 85. You can see what happens when you give a guy like Moriarty, who's one of the best receivers in the Ivy League, too much cushion. That should have been a completion if he was not out of bounds. We'll watch that as the day goes along.
All right, Hank Eaton will be punting from around his 19-yard line. Chuck Shirey in single safety. Eaton bobbles the ball and tries to throw it. It's knocked loose. Harvard's going to scoop it up on the 15 of Yale. Well, Harvard catches a big break on the bobble punt attempt by Eaton.
All right, we're going to take a look at another mistake as far as Yale is concerned, but this is a big one. Eaton fumbles the snap. Now he's looking every which way to run, and what you shouldn't do is what Garo Yepremian did in the Super Bowl years ago, is to throw the ball up for grabs. You fall down it and take your chances. Now Harvard has the ball inside. In fact, it's on the 15-yard line. Great pressure by Harvard, and we did say early, Dick, that with the win in Harvard's favor that they would be coming after the punter.
So far, nothing has gone right for Yale as they trail Harvard 7-0. The first time that Harvard had the ball, they moved downfield in 3 plays, 38 yards, and culminated with the Vignali 35-yard TD pass reception to take the 7-0 lead. And then Yale, with its second offensive attempt of the afternoon, put into a punting situation, and the punt bobbled, and then the attempted pass by Eaton went awry, and Harvard recovers the football on the 15 with a golden opportunity to punch it in again real quick in the first quarter, with a lot of time remaining, already 9:45 in this first quarter.
Well, it's hard sitting at home maybe to realize how bad this wind is here, but we got to tell you, it's not hankies down there, it's paper.
And down on the sideline, Sean McDonough.
Well, Upton and Dick, you are absolutely right. The wind is certainly a factor. Not only is that flag whipping across Harvard Stadium, but it is really whipping around down here in the field. As you can see, trash is beginning to litter a field, and as a matter of fact, that might be a factor. There are popcorn boxes and potato chip wrappers that are on the field, but it's windy, it's cold, and no doubt about it, if Harvard gets ahead by a lot, a considerable margin, say they score another touchdown here, Yale's going to have a tough time throwing the football in the wind, and when they do throw it, they're going to have a tough time catching it because their hands are going to be very cold. My tongue's cold. Back to the booth.
Boy, it almost looks like Harvard can beat Syracuse today.
First down at the 15-yard line. The Crimson of Harvard, of course, who will be waiting when they resume play. And there's Yale's record, overall 5-3. They started out with those 2 tough losses. They beat Brown every place but on the scoreboard, lost to the University of Connecticut convincingly, and then finally found themselves against Morgan State. Came back with a win over Dartmouth that you saw here on the Ivy League Game of the Week. Went by and came from behind against Columbia. Gave Penn a scare before Yale made a fatal error with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go in that football game. And then went on, and then the fabulous comeback against Princeton last week. But here it's Harvard on the 15 of Yale with their second offensive series of the afternoon. They already lead 7-0. Vignali. Lots of room to the 5, inside the 5, and he's down to the 3-yard line is Mark Vignali. John Zaneski and Steve Pender, 69 and 46, make the stop.
In this replay, we watch Mark Vignali, number 33. We watch 14, Santiago. What a block he puts on 2 men to open it up for Vignali. And people only know Santiago as a fine, outstanding running back. But there, he made that play. He took a piece of both men, Dick, and opened it up for Vignali. And they're down there knocking again.
With a 1st and goal to go from the 3-yard line. Vignali gets the call. And Vignali, is the touchdown marker up? Yes, it is. Hands in the air. Touchdown. Vignali has scored his 2nd touchdown of the first quarter. And Mark Vignali now has 7 on the season. And Harvard has a 13-0 lead.
When you have 2 people in the backfield like Santiago and Vignali, and they're looking for both, you see Santiago in front. He'll be the lead blocker. He moves inside. Santiago reads Tio. Number 60's blocked beautifully. Number 39, Tony Resch, is the only guy that has a shot at him. And in that foot race, the back usually wins.
And Rob Steinberg will be attempting the extra point. He's 18 for 18 on the season. And make that 19 for 19. And Harvard leads Yale 14-0 here in the first quarter at Harvard Stadium. We mentioned earlier about the possibility the team who wins this game wins the Big 3 championship. For those who might not know, the Big 3 championship is the one who is victorious, who comes out the best of it in the Yale, Harvard, and Princeton series. And seeing that they have both have a win over Princeton, the winner of today's game would win that. Here's Harvard statistics on the season. Victorious over Columbia, lost to Holy Cross and Army back-to-back, and then went on to win over Cornell, Dartmouth, Princeton, and Brown, and then lost last week to Penn, 38-7.
Well, I think we've been answered early about how Harvard's attitude would be coming into this game. I know it is the game against Yale, but still, that beating was one of the worst in their history, and it was a very close game in the first half, and it opens up the second half, and Steve Ortman of Penn runs it all the way back, and all of a sudden Harvard is out of it and loses 38-7. They come in here today with a quarterback who is questionable, or was questionable coming in the game. But if you remember this game and the things that happened so far, the wind has been the biggest factor in Harvard's favor.
That it has to date, plus the execution of number 7, Brian White, the running and pass receiving of number 33, Mark Vignali. 9:12 remaining in the first quarter. The deep men again for Yale. Number 10, Mike Luzzy. Number 26, Ted McCauley. Looking directly into the sun over Harvard Stadium.
I thought the sun never set here.
Once again, as we pointed out, there will be no free standing of that ball on the tee. The wind is too strong. It has to be held. Feinberg really booms it, and this one goes out of the back of the end zone. So for the first time this season, we will see the new rule put into effect, and the ball will be brought out to the 30-yard line. I've been waiting all season to say that.
Well, you finally got it. The wind did you a favor and finally got it for you, and it appears so far everything is going right for Harvard.
And there's the arithmetic on Harvard's last scoring drive, taking only 33 seconds to accomplish in 2 plays as they lead 14-0.
Now, Dick, I think that we have to see Yale, even with the wind against them, open up a little bit more. You don't want to get down any more than 14-0. A lot of these games come back to you, and Yale, they've stuck close to a team, have always been able to come back in the last couple of minutes.
All right, Yale with their best field position of the afternoon so far, the 30-yard line. That due to the kick. There's McCauley. Hurdles across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Cornerback Ken Tarzi, number 85, made the tackle, and down on the sidelines with some scores, Sean McDonough.
All right, gentlemen, some scores from around the country. Just down the road in Foxborough, Massachusetts, Boston College taking on Syracuse. Upton hanging for the score. It's 7-7 in the second quarter. At halftime, it's Florida 12, Kentucky 3. Second quarter action, Navy 7, South Carolina 7. More after this.
Second down and 6 for Yale at their own 36-yard line. Murata in motion. Ball Spivak up close to the 39-yard line with a gain of about 3 as Wilkinson and Bennett make the tackle. And with more scores, Sean McDonough.
Thank you, Richard. Notre Dame 21, Penn State 7 there in the second quarter. And how about that one? Jerry Faust making a bid to keep his job. Maryland 7, Clemson nothing there in the first quarter. 7-0 Ohio State leads Michigan. Ohio State, if they win, will go to the Rose Bowl. Second quarter, it's 7-7 Iowa State against Oklahoma State. And it's West Virginia 10, Temple 7 there in the second quarter. Those are all the scores we have right now.
Here at Cambridge, Massachusetts, Yale with a 3rd down and 2, looking for their first down of the afternoon across the 41. That should be good enough for the first down. It is, and the Elis have picked up their first down as Steve Anderson, number 12, and Wilkinson, number 48, combined to make the tackle.
Actually, they wanted that badly enough that Curtin was the lead blocker on that toss, and really was the reason that they got the first down.
As you pointed out, Upton, Yale is going to have to show something real quick. When you're down 14-0 in the first quarter, you just cannot afford to get that much more into a hole.
Well, not only that, your defense keeps getting closer and closer to the line of scrimmage. You're putting more pressure on.
On a misdirection, that's Mike Luzzy, but they're waiting for him. He gets up to about the 44. Steve Anderson, number 12, is there to greet him.
What makes football so different from any other sport is all the game plans, Dick, you work on during the week, talking to both coaches, laying out what they were going to do, some of the things that worked for Penn against Harvard, some of the things that Yale did, and you come in here and you get a windy day, and you could get an injury, the bounce of the ball, and all of a sudden your team's 14-0 down, and then you have to depart somewhat from your game plan.
Only a yard gain on that last play, so it is 2nd and 9 at the 43. Yale in their white road uniforms. Murata goes in motion to the left side. Curtin rolls to that right, but he is going to be nailed by Steve Anderson, number 12, who had just rolled right into that play, read it perfectly, and Peter Mackey was there too as well. But number 12, Steve Anderson, the key.
Well, that's what they want to do. They want to put enough pressure on Curtin because they know that he's going to attempt to do what Chuck McGeehan did last week against Harvard. He rolled out with both the backs in front of him, and there was no pressure from the backside. This time, Anderson came from one side, and Mackey got through on his side of the line of scrimmage and chased him from the backside. Pressure has got to be on the quarterback when he sprints out or he has too much time to throw.
And there's too much yardage as far as Mr. Curtin is concerned to pick up. It's 3rd down and 14 here at the 38 after that loss. Wants to throw. Looking for Luzzy. Incomplete at the midfield stripe. And it'll be 4th down coming up once again. So Yale has had the ball 3 times, and they are forced to punt the ball 3 times.
Number 10, Mike Luzzy, is going to go down about 8 yards and make his cut to the right. The ball should be thrown as he breaks. It wasn't thrown as he broke. and it was a little bit high, and it was incomplete. He was hit.
Once again, Eaton will be punting. This is his third punt, and he's punting into a wind, and Shirey stands back at his own 28. This is a clean snap this time, and the wind just catches that ball. Shirey takes it, fumbles the football. Yale covers it at the 23-yard line. So Yale catches a break on the wind, due to the wind. It was Ardell McKenna, number 56, who pounced on the football.
And Ardell McKenna is their second leading tackler. Shirey should have never tried to catch this football at that angle. He was not in front of it properly. He should have signaled for a fair catch or moved away from the football. We'll take a look at another angle now. He's moving to his right. There's sun in his eyes. He has no idea the location of the ball. McKenna, 56, moves in. Here's the break that Yale has needed to get themselves back in this game.
And they need to capitalize on it, more importantly, as Luzzy goes in motion to the left side. McCauley, he bangs to the 20, picks up about 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5 as Dave Finicos, the middle guard, number 51, and Dan Bennett, number 56, the linebacker, form the tandem to bring him down.
I think one of the other things we're going to see here, they're running the football. They're concerned that they get good field position. But field goal kicking against this wind, even down if you get the ball down the 10-yard line, is going to be difficult there.
Absolutely correct. The wind is just swirling throughout this stadium. It is second down and 4. Long 4 for that first down. Murata in motion to the right side. Spivak gets the call. He's down close to the 17-yard line. Bennett in there initially for Harvard, number 46, the senior out of Sherborne, Massachusetts, history major.
I guess they feel that they can move it on the ground in small chunks against Harvard. But again, they've got to be mindful. This is an opportunity with this wind the way it is that they cannot blow.
In third down conversions, Yale is 1 for 3 in the ball game so far. It is third down and 2, and this is a key at the 17-yard line of Harvard. Luzzy in motion. And Spivak up the middle. He picks up the first down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. The interior quickly closed. Wilkinson and Bennett for Harvard.
Well, Marty Wilkinson, number 51. That line comes off that ball, and you can see it stands people up enough for him to get the first down. But the key to the whole thing was their captain, Marty Martinson, number 51, came off the ball. Spivak came in right in behind him, drove his man, and they got the first down.
Eli's out of the huddle. They put Moriarty, number 82. Keep your eye on him. He's their Mr. Clutch on this first down from the 15-yard line closer to the 14 as Murata goes in motion again. McCauley, second man through, spins to the 10 and brought down at the 9 as adjuster back Casey Smith, number 18, rides him down at the 9-yard line.
I'll tell you, that counter is working as it did with Penn, at least on that play. They run the back one way, they hand off to McCauley the other way, and they pull the guard, and it worked.
Well, there you see the seasonal stats. Yale has good second and fourth quarters. Harvard fourth quarter as well as their better one. It is second down and 5 for the first down for Yale. The line of scrimmage is the 9-yard line of Harvard. Luzzy in motion. White roll on the curtain rolls, and he gets close to the 6-yard line as Wilkinson and Finicos team up to bring him down. Both quarterbacks this afternoon wearing number 7, Curtin and White.
All right, we're going to take a look at another angle, a low ground angle of Yale coming off the ball. 51 Martinson makes his block. Right in behind that right-hand side of that Yale line, Waslowski, Spara, and Quinlan, the tight end. They're getting penetration on that Harvard defense.
Once again, it is third down and 2. McCauley has 31 yards in 9 carries. Spivak inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. It looks like he might have picked up the first down. Finicos and Wilkinson once again, 51 and 48 for Harvard, making the tackle. But Spivak with hard running.
Finicos isn't
picks up that first down.
He is not big, and they've been able to move him, Dick. And Spivak is really a great story. This kid played hardly for Yale this year. Got an opportunity to play when Dave Klein got hurt, and they think he's their best blocker and a good short yardage back, and he's certainly shown that.
I have to say, Spivak, number 43, really looking good on second effort performances. First and goal to go from the 4. Spivak gets the call. He's in the end zone. Touchdown.
This time they came off the left-hand side. Harvard's right-hand side. Spivak is hit initially at the line by number 18, Casey Smith, the adjuster. Now watch the legs continue to move as he takes it in the extra yard for a touchdown, but he was stopped by Casey Smith, and that's what we're talking about, good short yard runner.
Bill Moore attempting the extra point, number 3. He's 19 for 21 on extra point conversions this season. It's up. It is good. And the score now is Harvard 14, Yale 7 here in the first quarter with 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining to be played.
It's up, and the ball probably will never come down again. It got up in the air. I've never seen an extra point like that. The ball got up in the air. It looked like a balloon floating.
It is windy, and that is the understatement of the afternoon here at Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Well, it all depends on how you take your medicine. With Yale back in the game 14-7. That win in the fourth quarter, if they're close, again, is going to be a factor because the wind is not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. And Sean McDonough was talking about papers on the field. We thought it was hankies first, although it's too early in the game as we look at Joe Rustic.
Oh, yeah.
But there are more papers swirling around down there than I've seen anywhere.
So for the first time this afternoon, as you see the Yale flag blowing in the breeze above Harvard Stadium, the deep men for Harvard, Joe Pusatari, number 42, and number 31, Rufus Jones. The return men.
I'll bet you Shirey wish he has that bat, and it's difficult to remind a guy of what happens to him in a game, but coaches try to tell their players in big games where wind is a factor and the sun. Carmen Koza looks a little calmer now. Don't touch the football. Don't let a team back in the ball game again, and that's exactly what Harvard did when he dropped the punt.
Well, there you see Bill Moore kicking off for the first time this afternoon. It's that little sidewinder. Doesn't have much on it. Scooped up at the 25. Fumble. A ball loose again.
I think Harvard had it.
We'll wait for the call.
Sabara dropped it.
Yale players are happy, but no official word yet. Now the official word.
Yale has
Bob
it.
Dooley. Bob Dooley came up with it.
Here is the kickoff with this crazy win, a factor all day long. Now trying to get a handle on his number 40, George Sabara. You can see he gets it in his hands and then he drops it. Yale recovers. Here's another look at it from another angle, trying to handle a football on a day like today. He never had complete control of the ball. Yale's ball again.
Again, and this time they have it at the 20. They give it to Luzzy on a misdirection, and Luzzy takes it to the 15-yard line. So he picks up 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Casey Smith coming up from the adjuster back position to make the tackle for Harvard.
Dick, this is unbelievable. I've done games in the snow and the rain and seen so many weather factors, but today to have 2 things like this happen in a row to get a team back in the game, it's just so unusual. I've never seen the wind swirl the way it is at the bottom of this stadium.
But it does it here, and it does it often, and you get used to it if you play here, and Harvard knows that. It is 2nd down and 5 for Yale. This time they're waiting for Spivak. There'll be no gain as Peter Mackey, number 83, the defensive left tackle, 6'6", 240-pound senior from Wellesley, Mass, makes the hit.
Harvard this time stopped it. It is a straight handoff with the guard pulling to Spivak, who's trying to break it outside. No way. Mackey, number 83, stops it right in its tracks. But Yale will run those plays and run that power offense until Harvard stops it.
Well, Yale has a 3rd down and 5 at the 15-yard line of Harvard with an opportunity to put themselves right back in this ball game as they trail 14-7. Luzzy in motion.
Big hole.
And they are waiting for Mr. McCauley, and that's Barry Ford, number 95. He is so good for Harvard, the defensive right tackle, 6'3", 218-pound senior from Poughkeepsie, New York, from Peekskill, New York.
A difference between breaking it all the way and being caught by 95 Ford. Now, that's the fastest replay you're ever going to see, but we wanted you to see how quickly these backs get to the line. What happened was McCauley did not follow Spivak in his blocking. The hole was open inside. He chose to run it outside, and there was 95 Ford, who was suckered, who made the play.
Well, they're going to attempt maybe a 34-yard field goal. The holder is Luzzy. Remember, he was a former quarterback. Bill Moore attempting. They spot the ball. He boots it up. It looks like it's got distance. It's good. Bill Moore hits on a 34-yard field goal. And the score is now Harvard 14, Yale 10.
Well, Carmen Koza feels a little more relaxed now. 14-10, though, is better than 14-14. Yale got something out of it. Harvard was able to stop the touchdown. But now they've got to do something about their special teams because it has cost them again. In this case, it isn't them kicking the ball short. It's the people handling the football. And I'll tell you something, I would not tee the ball up the rest of the day. I'd put the ball down flat and kick it. I don't care if it goes 15 yards.
You know something? I might not disagree with you on that. You know, I haven't seen it, but I probably wouldn't. The wind is just such an unbelievable factor. Well, we can bore you by telling you that. We're just going to let you watch the game. It is 14-10 with 33 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Harvard is out in front. They scored the first 2 times they had possession of the football, and then 2 consecutive kick bobbles by Harvard. Yale pounced on at the 25 and the 20 and converted into scoring opportunities. One on a touchdown by Spivak on a 4-yard run, the other on a 34-yard field goal by Bill Moore, who is teeing the football up, and Murata will do the holding. The deep men again, Fusatari 42 for Harvard, 31 Rufus Jones to the left. And again, Moore tries that bobbler to Squibbler, and it's picked up by Brian O'Neill, and O'Neill takes it out to the 38-yard line. Brian O'Neill carries out to the 38, and the tackle made in there by Flannery, Mike Flannery.
Harvard might now want to go back to ball control, see if they can take a little steam out of Yale. Be the smartest thing for them to do. Nothing fancy. Let's see if the running game's going. See if we can control the football and get a little semblance of order back to this club.
Brian White has Harvard split with Sabaro in the slot on the left and Coyne White out there on the left, and bobbles the football. And again, he pounces on it. It looks like White has recovered and covered his own bobble back there.
He never got complete control of it, but Brian White appeared to me to have some problems recovering this. As you can see, he never really gets a snap. He's looking for it around bottom of his legs, and luckily Harvard falls on it. It was Santiago. I still want to see how he's operating for a full half on that knee.
He didn't look like he was fluid on that.
No, it did not.
His leg looked like he was just stiff a little bit. Well, there's the end of the first quarter. The time runs down with the score, Harvard 14 and Yale 10. There you see a good view of the crowd here, the capacity crowd at Harvard Stadium on this sunny but windy afternoon. Sean McDonough down on the sideline.
Gentlemen, throughout the day, we're going to be updating some Ivy League standings in different sports, and we see the results from the men's heptagonals cross-country racing. In the men's division, Dartmouth won it for the first time in 48 years. Jim Sapienza became the first male Ivy runner to win 3 straight heptagonal championships. He was the individual winner. Dartmouth also won the team championships. Jim Sapienza will compete in the NCAA championships at Penn State on Monday. We're going to take now a look at the women's. Harvard won it. And Harvard has been the winner each of the last 5 years in a row. They have a very fine runner themselves in Kate Wiley. It was her 3rd straight individual championship. We'll update other standings throughout the day.
And Harvard has a 2nd down and 14 at their own 35. McNally with some room. Up to the 40. Picks up 5. So it'll be 3rd down and 9 coming up. McNally, by the way, has 4 carries and 20 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground and 1 touchdown on pass receiving as Resch and Keenan form the tandem to make the tackle for Yale.
Harvard really likes to pull their guard and tackle. This time they pulled him from the left side. Costacos and Ben Teo. They're really quick getting out in front there. Might make a point with McNally. All the times he's carried the football, all the yardage he's gained, and yet he carries that football almost like a loaf of bread out there, Dick. I'm surprised more teams don't try and knock that ball free and clear. He does not hold it close to his body.
3rd down and 9 now, and White puts the split out on the left side with Coyne, in the slot out there is Sobara, and White sees something he doesn't like and steps away from the ball.
You mean he was blown away from the ball.
And also a delay of game is called for taking too much time, so 5 yards will be assessed against Harvard, and that'll bring it back to the 14 yards they need for the 1st down. Only this time it'll be 3rd down. Colorful sight here at Harvard Stadium.
Dead ball! 25-second delay.
Our Referee today, Ronald Hoover. The umpire, James Quirk. The head linesman, Milton Halstead. The line judge, George Abdo. And the field judge is David Brody. The back judge, Charles Phillips. Big third down play for Harvard. 3rd and 14 as they face the wind now in the second quarter. 14-10, Harvard leads. McNally almost bobbled it there, but recovered, but didn't pick up much yardage at the 35. So it's 4th down as Alakwa and McKenna form the tandem 40 and 56 to bring him down quickly.
We're going to take a look at Mark McNally. He never quite has the football. Quarterback White doesn't get to him, and he gets the ball late. The ball pops out. He gets it back in again. And again, the wind is even a factor on the ground and the handoffs.
All right, here is the first punt of the afternoon, and we have a flag. That's Rob Steinberg back there for Harvard. He averages 36 yards a punt this season as they're going to be pacing off yardage against Harvard.
And now we'll see what Yale can do with his punt. He did not have a good week last week, as we know. And one of the reasons that they had problems was because of the punting away from Timmy Chambers at Penn and punting out of bounds only 25-30 yards downfield. So we'll see what happens with Ted McCauley back.
And as we pointed out to you before, he will be kicking into a swirling wind that also is gusting across the field at times, making it very difficult to get any distance. McCauley is the lone man back there for Yale at the 30, but it would really take something for the ball to get there with this wind. And as you can see, the ball goes straight up and the wind takes it from there, but he gets a roll. He gets a good Harvard roll, and it comes down to and goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. That's where Yale will take over, at the 33.
McCauley was smart in staying away from the football the way that is reacting to the crazy wind. Also, you've got to tell your own players to be careful on a short kick. As we look at Steinberg, he was lucky on that one. It was not a good kick. It'll come off the side of his foot. See, the center snap is a little bit low. He's taking a lot of steps on this one. Normally you have a 2-step. That's almost 4 steps. Looks like he almost slips. The ball comes off the side of his foot. Dickey gets a lucky roll on that one.
In motion goes Luzzy to the right side as Yale's line of scrimmage at the 33. Spivak up to the 35. Picks up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for Yale when they come out of the huddle. Tackle made by Brent Wilkinson, number 48 for Harvard. Both clubs 5-3, but Harvard is 5-1 in league play. Yale is 4-2 in league play.
And even though it's the Yale game, they've got to be thinking about what's happening up in Cornell on the artificial turf. Cornell and Penn, if Harvard was to win, they could still share it if Penn lost.
Let's not forget that Harvard has shared this title for the past 2 seasons. 2nd down and 8 Yale at their own 35. White finds Moriarty out around the 43-yard line, very close to the first down, as Tarzi there to make the hit on Moriarty, who picks up his first reception of the afternoon.
One of the things that Tarzi is doing, and maybe he's afraid of Moriarty's speed and ability, and we're going to see Kevin Moriarty, who is their deep threat and one of the more dangerous receivers in the Ivy League. Now the quarterback Curtin is sprinting out to his right. He has both McCauley and Spivak in front of him. McCauley goes down 8 yards, makes his curl in, but I'll tell you, Tarzi, number 85, is giving him too much cushion.
3rd down now and a short one for the first down at the 43-yard line. Spivak gets the call, tries it once, twice, and I don't believe he picked it up, but we'll wait to see where they spot the football. As Harvard was ready, everybody was there. Wilkinson, Bennett, Finicos. It'll all be on where they put their foot down when they
Cecil
unpile.
Cox pushed him back. That's the big thing. Where do you place the ball? He might have made it, but Cecil Cox came right in on the top of that pile and pushed him back, and they've got to measure, I'm sure.
And that's what they're going to do as the official calls the timeout. The stakes will come in from the far side. And Sean McDonough has some more updates for us.
Well, gentlemen, as we mentioned moments ago, there's some very important games around the country today as far as the bowl picture is concerned and that sort of thing. And it does sound like from the roar in the background, Yale has picked up the first down. Syracuse leads Boston College 10-7 there at the half at Sullivan Stadium. Florida at the half leading Kentucky 12-3. Also at halftime, an upset in the making. Navy 14, number 2 ranked South Carolina 7. And try this one on for size. Up to Notre Dame 31, Penn State 7. They're still in the second quarter.
Here at Harvard Stadium, Yale has a first down at the 44. McCauley gets a little room. And McCauley Inside into Harvard territory, down to the 46. Ken Tarzi trips him up, number 85. But McCauley, who comes into the ball game today, averaging 5 yards a carry.
I will find out why he does. This is a counter. McCauley reads the block beautifully on the right-hand side, gets 8 yards out of it. He's reading his blockers beautifully, and there's just that little delay that they have. He came in behind Paul Weimer, number 71, who had pulled from his tackle position. McCauley followed him beautifully. They are using those counters somewhat the way Penn did, Dick, when they get running room.
McCauley has 10 carries for 42 yards. Picked up the first down at the Harvard 46. Murata in motion.
Drop back.
White wants to go, looking for Moriarty. Wide open. Moriarty at the 20, the 15. And Moriarty will go out of bounds inside the 10-yard line at the 8-yard line. For a 38-yard pass play.
Yale very rarely drops straight back and throws. That is not Curtin's way of doing it. And we're going to take a look at the secondary and find out why Mr. Moriarty got clear. He came in behind the corner and the safety, 3 Cox. He ran a curl pattern, almost a post pattern inside. Now he's just running speed alone to the left side of the field, but they are giving him entirely too much cushion.
Now it is first down and goal to go from the 8. McCauley bobbles it, hangs on, is not going to get any yardage, gets left to the line of scrimmage as Anderson there to smother him, number 12.
In that case, Harvard really had what you would call double coverage. They were in a zone. The front man played him, but he circled in behind the front man, who was number 85, Ken Tarzi, who I said has been giving him too much room to run his patterns, which means Cecil Cox had to pick him up.
Now it is second down, goal to go from the 8. Yale lines up in the eye. They put Murata out wide on the right-hand side, and we have officials calling timeout.
Looks like there's a flag down for some reason, too.
There is so much blowing on that field. There's debris all over it, and that was why they picked up an item that had been thrown out, I guess, or blown out. All right, second down and goal to go from the 8. Yale trailing 14-10. They give it to Spivak, and Spivak slices to the 1. He's ridden down at the 1. That's Brian Bergstrom, number 27, riding him down with Cecil Cox.
Right over that left side comes Spivak out of the I formation. He is the fullback. Handoff. The guard pulls. The center pushes his man down. He comes in behind both of them. The stop made by Cox, number 3, but they are getting penetration.
And it is now third down and goal to go from the 1. Yale knocking on the door. Yale could go out in front. Spivak, he slams in, touchdown. And Spivak, Paul Spivak, has scored his second touchdown of the afternoon for Yale to put Yale out in front after Yale trailed 14-0.
Well, in this case, the last 2 handoffs are nothing but power football behind your center and guard on the right side. This time, the replay, ground level. You'll see him take the handoff behind the center, 51, Martinson, and the right guard, Weslowski, number 75. Here is another angle at it. You can see Harvard being driven back. Watch 18, Casey Smith, and 3 being driven back, Cecil Cox. That's called coming off the ball at the line of scrimmage when you have to score. Power football.
Power football, Weslowski, Martinson, Matthews, Weimer, Squara doing their job. And Yale now has put themselves not only back in the ball game, but out in front after they trailed 14-0 early in the first quarter. 9:38 remaining in the second quarter as Bill Moore will be attempting the extra point. Moore gets it up there, and it is good, and Yale is out in front. 17-14.
We've got a flag down, I think, and I don't know if they'll assess the penalty unless it's somebody throwing yellow handkerchief on the field. They'll probably assess the penalty on the kickoff, but there was a flag on the extra point try.
We're going to pause just a moment in our coverage of this game between the Crimson and the Bulldogs with the score, Yale 17, Harvard 14.
Ivy League football is brought to you by the Travelers, the same people who bring insurance and financial services to corporations, small business, and families. The Travelers, where fairness is good business. GTE, an advanced telecommunications company, and also manufacturer of 6,000 different kinds of Sylvania brand lamps. American Brands, whose product lines include tobacco, food, personal care and office products, distilled beverages, and security services. And by
American Express, cards, traveler's checks, and vacation stores. American Express. Don't leave home without us.
This is the Eastern Educational Network.
This is Channel 2 Boston, public television for New England.
Back here at Harvard Stadium, Dick Gallaudet, Upton Bell, Sean McDonough. Yale has just gone downfield and gone out in front 17-14 with Spivak's plunge from the 1 after trailing 14-0.
An incredible comeback.
In roughing the kicker penalty was assessed, so Yale is kicking off from the Harvard 45. The deep men, Joe Pusatari, number 42, Rufus Jones, number 31. Bill Moore says he's ready. This time he goes for an onside kick.
They've got the ball.
And Yale is recovered.
Number 45 for
Mike
Yale.
Flannery. Mike Flannery.
Incredible that they did that on top of it. You talk about a change in momentum. They tried an onside kick. With this win, with great field position, for the opportunity to put Harvard back where they wanted them with
Upton Bell, Sean McDonough. Yale has just gone downfield and gone out in front 17-14 with Spivak's plunge from the 1 after trailing 14-0.
An incredible comeback.
In roughing the kicker penalty was assessed, so Yale is kicking off from the Harvard 45. The deep men, Joe Pusatari, number 42, Rufus Jones, number 31. Bill Moore says he's ready. This time he goes for an onside kick.
They've got the ball.
And Yale is recovered.
Number 45 for
Mike
Yale.
Flannery. Mike Flannery.
Incredible that they did that on top of it. You talk about a change in momentum. They tried an onside kick. With this win, with great field position, for the opportunity to put Harvard back where they wanted them with that offense, they are going for it all. The surge in the Yale offense, I think, just said to them, this is the time to pull it. If we're going to pull something, now's the time to do it.
Well, Bill Moore has redeemed himself with his coach, Carm Koza, after what he did against Penn. It is first down, Yale at the 32. McCauley, he sticks his head in there, and he's being ridden back down by Steve Anderson, number 12, the defensive end for Harvard. Picks up a couple. It'll be second down and 8.
How quickly the complexion of a Harvard-Yale game can change when Harvard, along with the win, dominated. Yale comes back with Harvard letting them off the hook. Yale takes advantage of it and then comes back and scores, really leading to the score, a 32-yard pass play.
Spivak, 12 carries, 35 yards, 2 touchdowns for the Elis. Second down and 7. Line of scrimmage at the 29-yard line of Harvard as Murata goes in motion. And they give it up the middle. Spivak, who's gang tackled down by the interior. Dan Bennett, 46, Wilkinson, 48. Picks up a couple more. It'll be about third down and 6 for the first down.
If there's a story of the Yale offense in this first half, it has to be number 43, Paul Spivak, who stepped in for an injured Dave Klein, who played very little for this club this year. In fact, I told you one time I ran into his parents at dinner, and they were talking about he did not have a lot of playing time. This kid has come on and had one great day for himself so far.
He was a great Crutchfield star at Schoten, Wallingford. Third down and 6 at the 28. McCauley tries to turn it outside, but Anderson gets away from Anderson. Now hit by Bennett, and Dan Bennett gets him, and also Steve Anderson comes to finish it off.
You know, Dick, sometimes when you get the momentum and you're successful with the inside game, you think maybe it's time to go outside, but I don't think they ought to try and go outside. I think the inside's where they can move them out.
You do what you do best, and that was it. I agree with you there. Stay with what you've had to get you there until it runs dry.
Well, not only that, you've got the lead.
All right, Bill Moore is going to be attempting a 44-yard field goal. He has a 34-yarder. Gets it off, it's got distance, and it's good. It's good. Bill Moore hits a 44-yard field goal.
You know, there are streaks in life when you can do nothing wrong. He makes it against the win and with the win.
I will point out, however, that Bill Moore owns the Yale kicking record with a 52-yarder.
All right, we're going to take a look at Bill Moore. He follows through. He's kind of a sidewinder. Muzzy says to him, you did it, gives him a big hug, and he ought to, because he's kicked 2 key field goals, one with the win and one against the win, and usually a sidewinder Dick, in this wind, the way it's blowing across the field, has no chance.
That's what I'm marveling at. Really, a sideline kicker is right.
Look at these kickers in the stand. How many kickers do you think they've had?
7:38 to play in this first half, and Yale, who trailed 14-0 so early in the first quarter, has now come back with 20 unanswered points to take the lead by 6.
Well, now we're going to find out about Harvard's poise and just how they plan to attack this situation. They have lost the momentum, and they better quickly gain it back because this wind is getting worse and it is getting darker, and there's 7:38 left in the first half.
And all the misfortune that's happened to Harvard on the turnovers has resulted in Yale points. As Moore kicks off, this time he goes a little deeper. Rufus Jones lets it go out the back of the end zone, and Harvard will have the football at their own 20-yard line. Oh, the Crimson. There's Paul Spivak with 2 touchdowns this afternoon. A New Haven, Connecticut youngster who is having the time of his life. Coming to stardom in a name now that will never be forgotten because of his performance.
That's right. His father will put him right in his Wall Street firm. His father's a very famous Wall Street lawyer. I've got to ask you, as somebody who's done 20-some Yale games in a row, where does this stand on your list of surprises?
After sitting in this stadium in '68, nothing surprises me watching that game. Anything can happen. Here you see Santiago. Santiago with room across the 25 and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. He picks up 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
One thing that Carm Koza said this week is that if they, by chance, got on top, the one thing they did not want to do is let Santiago outside. That they were scared to death, that they felt this was one of the quickest, fastest backfields he's ever faced, and that they had to contain him. They did not want him getting outside.
And I'll tell you the reason why. The young man leads this league in rushing, and with that blazing speed, Harvard has a 2nd down and 4 at their own 26. White pitches to Santiago, and there is Carmen Alacqua, number 40. They hit him first, and they throw him for the loss. Yakabuchi over there quickly. At the line of scrimmage, will be back at the 23-yard line.
When you're playing with the lead and your name is number 40, Carmen Alacqua, and you see the man coming down the line of scrimmage, White, and pitching to Santiago, again, as I said, they don't want to let him outside. The linebacker, Alacqua, played it beautifully, and so did Yakabuchi, stand-up man, perfectly.
Harvard is 0 for 1 in 3rd down conversions. They have a 3rd down and 7. Line of scrimmage to 23, their own. And White is going to be sacked back there. Coming in there is John Quinn, number 16, the junior out of Dover, Massachusetts, to put him down. Back at the 20-yard line. It'll be 4th down. Punting situation for Harvard, having to kick into that wind.
Quinn was not going to let him outside, and he was not going to let him throw.
Now Steinberg is standing on his own 6-yard line. You have McCauley standing at around midfield. Steinberg has 1 punt for 36 yards.
Too much
time again. Oh, the line of scrimmage is going to be pushed even farther back to the 15-yard line. And this time Steinberg will be kicking from his goal line.
And not only that, if I were Yale, I'd be going after that football. I've got nothing to lose. If my man even lets it bounce, I'm going to get good field position. There is nothing wrong with taking a piece out of it. You don't want to hit the man, but try to force him to squib punt it.
McCauley back there. Number 12.
All-star on the offense.
And he can fly also.
Here we go.
Steinberg standing on the goal line, waiting to punt. It is a 4th and 15. The line of scrimmage is the 15. Yale showing that they're going to go. Let's see if they come flying in.
They might fake it. They're faking it.
Right. And Steinberg gets a fine punt. Fair catch signaled for at the 40-yard line of Harvard. Fair catch signaled for by the Eli's John Shannon, the defensive back. Handled it cleanly. So Yale gets excellent field position after the 26-yard punt. Steinberg kicking into the wind. The 41-yard line is the line of scrimmage. And the score is Yale 20, Harvard 14, 6:01 left to play in this first half.
And you actually have to coach with the wind as being a factor and coach what you're going to do when you have the wind versus what you're going to do when you don't have it.
Luzzy in motion to the left side. White wants to throw. Fires complete to Luzzy. And Luzzy is down to the 31-yard line, a pickup of about 10, very close to that first down.
He ran a route right down in front of number 48, Brett Wilkinson, and they're going to pick on those linebackers a little bit. He's got both backs out in front of him, Curtin. He's sprinting to his left. He's looking for Luzzy now to clear right in front of 48, Brett Wilkinson. You can see number 3, Cecil Cox, is too far off him, and finally Tarzi, number 85, makes the tackle. But when you sprint out like that, Dick, you make the people in the defensive backfield react, and they've been off the receiver too far.
All right. It is first down as the stakes are brought back to the far sidelines. And our young rooter, I guess, maybe one of the youngest in the stadium today, no doubt about who it is rooting for.
Or at least his father's putting the costume on it.
First down, Yale at the 31 of Harvard.
It's got time.
Pumps once, twice, looking for Murata, and the ball is going to be, I believe, intercepted. Tarzi back there to pick it off. Ken Tarzi. And that is his 4th interception of the season or not? No? Trapped it, they say. All right.
He trapped it, and I tell you something, Curtin was very lucky to get away with this, because as he rolled out to hit Murata, Murata really doesn't know where the ball is, but Tarzi does. No, Tarzi has the ball. Well, I'll tell you from the replay here, we're going to take a look at it another angle. It appears to me that Tarzi makes the interception. All right, the ball is in his stomach. He comes down with the ball. I say that's an interception.
So do I. That's what I saw. That's what I called, but the official says differently.
Nice job in the truck, fellas.
Second down and 10. McCauley gets the call. He stumbles forward to about that 27-yard line. Casey Smith trips him up, number 18.
Boy, is that a costly... Well, you can't see, it's an error, at least from our vantage point, for the official, because Harvard would have taken it over and stopped their drive finally, and maybe their momentum. And clearly, he had possession of that football when he went down, Tarzi, number 85. So, hey, listen, everybody's under pressure today.
Third down and 6 with the line of scrimmage, the 28 of Harvard. Third down, long 6. They'll split on both sides.
He's looking to his right.
Here comes pursuit. That's Collins, who got a piece of his arm. Scott Collins, the linebacker, the sophomore out of Elmhurst, Illinois, got a piece of the arm, and now Yale is forced with a 4th down situation.
And are they going to try and punt with the wind with them? Field goal, Dick, in that case, what they're doing now is when they see 2 receivers, Luzzy and Murata, to the same side, they're sending the linebacker from that weak side, and there's nobody back there to protect the quarterback.
Well, this time, Bill Moore is going to attempt a 45-yard field goal attempt. 45-yard field goal.
From the side.
Gets the ball. It's got the distance. I don't know if it goes off to the left, but it is off to the left. Had the distance, but off to the left. No good. No, Moore is 2 for 3 in field goals this afternoon, and the score remains Yale 20, Harvard 14.
And again, with the way you come through the football as a sidewinder, with this type of wind, he had plenty of foot behind it, but the ball caught the wind and sliced off to the left-hand side.
I just want to repeat myself that he does have the Yale kicking record of a 52-yard field goal, and that was not on a windy afternoon.
Was it with or against the wind?
It was not a windy afternoon.
Still a with or against?
Harvard with the football. First down at their own 28-yard line. McNally. And McNally punches out to the 30-yard line, picks up a couple.
I'm still not sure yet how good that knee is of Brian White's. He hasn't been spreading out very much and throwing the football, and when he has thrown the football, it's been more of a semi-roll than anything else. I think there's still a question, and I'm sure that Yale is saying, we're going to make him pitch the ball.
Yesterday afternoon, the poor young man was being besieged by everybody at the freshman game while he was watching. Second down and 8 for Harvard. In motion is Sabara. We have movements. Zaneski moves across. Whether he was drawn or jumped on his own, the flag is dropped. Anyway, he got so tired of answering the question, but everybody's saying, what are you going to do tomorrow? White says, here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw 74 times.
Wow. So far, his prediction isn't right, and his knee is bulky, and he's got a lot of padding on it, and the wild man of the Osage, Zaneski, was the guy that came across.
Set ball! Ball start! Offense!
Boy, Harvard is just not having anything go right since they got their first 2 scores in that first quarter. It is second down and 13 for the Crimson at their own 25. Point out there wide on that left, so Barr in the slot. Now White runs and does not get anywhere. Goes down at the 25-yard line, the line of scrimmage. So it'll be a 3rd and 13 as McKenna and Ilaqua stop him.
No room to move is called this play. They're pulling both guards, and White is looking to cut back in behind Sam Jensen, number 59 block, but they cut that off. I'll tell you another interesting matchup, number 69 Zaneski, your buddy at nose guard, against number 63 Roger Caron, the top pro prospect, 270 pounds. Last time he handled him easily.
3rd down and 12 for Harvard. Line of scrimmage, they're 25. And White takes too much time back there as Zaneski and Queen are there to make sure that he does not get the ball away.
And this time Zaneski beat Mr. Caron, who's maybe the best offensive tackle in the Ivy League. Look at number 69 against number 63, all pro against a 210-pound lineman. You don't think that's quickness? He gets right by him. He actually is holding him on that play. Caron grabs him. They should have tacked 15 on top of it. Great play.
Here's Steinberg from the goal line.
They're going to block it.
And almost blocking it. He goes down, but no flag is thrown. And the ball, the wind blows it out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. So Yale will have it in excellent field position. They lead 20-14 with 2:34 to go in this first half, as it is cloudy, it is cold, it is windy here at Harvard Stadium.
All right, Grantland Rice, against the cold gray sky. One of the things that Yale is doing, Dick, and doing very well, they're going to make Mr. Steinberg, as we look at him, number 8 on the sideline, think every time he punts that they're going to come after it. And when that gets in the back of your mind, all of a sudden you start to shank it.
First down, Yale at the Harvard 38-yard line. Luzzy out wide on the right. McCauley and Spivak, and McCauley outside. And he is hit by Cecil Cox, number 3, and Ken Tarzi at around the 31-yard line. Really nailed out of bounds.
Well, he got great blocking on that side by number 33, Andrew Marwidi, the tight end. Also, Spivak, when he isn't running with the football, has done a great job of blocking. They cut Anderson, number 12, off, and Smith, the adjuster, number 18. He led the block and went outside.
Now you have Mike Stewart in at a tailback. He is an end, a quarterback, and now you're seeing him at tailback for Yale, number 18. He gets the pitch.
And he can fly.
And he slams his shoulder in close to the 25-yard line. Cecil Cox slammed his shoulder in as well. And it's a first down for Yale at the 26 of Harvard.
Here's the man, number 18, Mike Stewart, from the tailback position, who played quarterback against Penn and almost beat him. He plays every position, as Dick said, and watch him read the block, go to the outside, get around the corner. Great blocking and cutting off the linebackers and the defensive backs. He will play every position, including quarterback.
First down, Yale at the 26. Stewart hangs on. This time there's no going. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Danny Bennett put him away.
He sure did. Number 46 for Harvard.
One of the other things that Carm Koza thought about doing today, if Mike Curtin got off to a poor start, he was going to insert Mark Stewart in there, number 18, to play quarterback, and particularly in a game like today where the wind was a factor. But so far, Curtin has done a terrific job.
Second down and 10. Had the pleasure of talking with his parents yesterday afternoon as they watched the freshman game. Stewart, there he is.
He'll throw it.
He's going to throw. He's not going to do anything because he's going to be buried back at the 30-yard line. Steve Anderson's there, and so is Brent Wilkinson, number 48, and Casey Smith was there in a hurry.
Well, I'll tell you, he had number 10, Mike Luzzy, downfield. Not completely open, but this is called forcing it. This was the halfback option or the tailback option. He sees no opening there. He wants to throw back to the other side, but there are too many people around him. Casey Smith, Dan Bennett, number 46, they put the pressure on him, but it was designed to throw the football.
Yale on third down conversions is 4 for 10 this afternoon, and they have a third down and 14 from the 30, and there is timeout called on the field by Yale as Curtin wants to go to the sidelines and talk it over with head coach Carm Koza.
What they had done is that they had put 2 tight ends in the game, Quinlan, number 14, and 33, Marwidi. They put Quinlan in the slot and put Luzzy outside, and I'm not really sure that he knew that they knew what the play was. They're talking it over now. Let's get these tight ends straight, guys. Luzzy also, as you have pointed out earlier this year, Luzzy's also an ex-quarterback.
Quarterback for 2 years. Very sound baseball player as well. He went out to California this past summer and worked out with the UCLA players in that area.
that they were friends. And down on the sideline, Sean McDonough.
Gentlemen, as you can see, we're taking a look at the Ivy League standings in women's volleyball. Princeton wins the Ivy League with a record of 7-0. But Pennsylvania had the outstanding player in the league. Penn finished second at 6-1. And junior Corey Sommerstad was the Ivy League MVP. We should point out that Cornell, which finished in a tie for third place along with Brown and Yale, all those clubs were 4-3. Cornell won the New York State Championship, defeating a very fine Syracuse team. Let's go back to the booth.
A fine Syracuse team.
Third down and 14. Yale on the Harvard 30. Ryan White.
He's got time, Dick.
And Ryan White. Mike Curtin looking for McCauley downfield, and it's broken up. Curtin now 3 for 9, 56 yards passing this afternoon.
We are going to take a look at Ted McCauley, number 26. He plays every position, including wide receiver. He wants to come down and cut in, but Cecil Cox, number 3, runs him off his route, and then number 18, Casey Smith, also gives him a shot, which could be somewhat illegal with the ball in the air.
So it is 4th down and 14, and now Bill Moore will be attempting a 46-yard field goal attempt. And this one goes nowhere, as it was partially blocked by Ken Tarzi, number 85, who zeroed in on it. So the ball goes over to Harvard, and the score remains Yale 20, Harvard 14, with 57 seconds remaining in this first half.
That was a big block because it cuts down on Yale's momentum. It has been all Yale since early in the first quarter, and they have controlled the football, and you can see that Moore is a weapon even with this win. Harvard gets a piece of it that time, but they now must get some semblance of offense going, and I still have a question. I hate to keep repeating it about the quarterback and his mobility.
All right, Brian White, number 7, quarterbacking the junior from Groveland, Massachusetts. And here comes Zaneski. Zaneski out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The man who Coach Carmcosa at Yale is touting for the Ivy League Player of the Year. Really going out campaigning for him.
Well, he doesn't need to campaign for him. What he'll do is take the tape of this game and take a look at the job that he has done. He has very rarely been blocked today. Number 69, Brian White is trying to drop straight back. He beats White to the spot. He might as well have been on the offense. And again, when Brian White drops back, to me it tells me the same thing it did in the Penn game. He does not have the mobility to sprint out and throw. 2nd down and 19 now for Harvard. Vignali. And goes down at about the 24. Picks up about 3. So still a lot of yardage to go. Brian White is 1 for 1 passing, 35 yards, and that was a touchdown, and that will run down the first half. And at the end of the first half, the score is Yale 20, Harvard 14. And as we pointed out, what makes it so remarkable is the fact that Harvard, the first 2 times it had its hands on the ball this afternoon in the first quarter, went down and scored. White to Vignali on a 35-yard touchdown pass. Vignali came back with a 3-yard touchdown run. Harvard led 14-0. And Yale got back into the act after punts when kickoffs were bobbled by Harvard. Spivak scored on a 4-yard run. Moore hit on a 34-yard field goal. Spivak again on a 1-yard run. Moore on a 44-yard field goal. And that's why the score is Yale 20, Harvard 14 at the half. But as anyone will say, Upton, the game is played in 2 parts. Yes, it is. And again, coming out in the second half, the win will be a factor. But more and more I see of Brian White. My question is that knee at halftime going to tighten up a little bit? I think it would have to be. Can Yale continue to take advantage of every break? Probably so. Is the Harvard running game being stopped after the first quarter? Yes. So the momentum going in the locker room is Yale's. If they come out with it, they could steal this game.
Well, athletics certainly play a very important part at Yale, and several of Yale's students feel quite strongly about this aspect of college life.
Yale's mission is to provide a liberal education that enables students to live intelligently and to serve others. That purpose is reflected in Yale's vast intercollegiate athletic program.
I've learned so much from the hockey and just the interaction with the other hockey players.
And I've become much more aware and self-conscious of myself as an athlete and as a person.
Few colleges offer as many varsity sports as Yale. All told, there are 33 varsity teams, 17 for men and 16 for women. The diversity that Yale prides itself in is carried over to its athletic teams.
The most important thing about playing athletics at Yale is that the diversity of the athletes here.
You know, up in practice, you get close to people that you would normally have not known, and it just provides different avenues of interaction.
The strength of Yale's athletic program stems also from its outstanding coaching staff. This year, 4 Yale coaches served in the Olympic Games.
Mark Young is the track coach here, and I think one of his best qualities is making you believe in yourself.
Our coach is known for having a light spirit, and he really likes squash to be fun.
Yale student athletes have always enjoyed success in both the classroom and on the playing fields.
Going to nationals last year with the lacrosse team was great. I think the most memorable happened last year when our team won the NCAA championships. It was very exciting.
When I look back at Yale, I think I'll look back at my wrestling as something that has shaped just the way I am and the way I've matured.
I feel like that Yale has so much to offer. I just feel so fortunate to have been here.
Well, there it is, halftime here at Cambridge, and it is Harvard Stadium, and the Yale band is performing down on the field before what would be called the visitors' side of the field here, and of course they are euphoric after the results of this first half with Yale out in front, 20-14 over Harvard. Harvard, of course, a 1-touchdown favorite coming into the ball game today. As we told you earlier, both of these teams have identical overall records, but Harvard has 5-1 in league play. Yale is 4-2 in league play, and Yale, if they could beat Harvard this afternoon, would get a piece of second place in the Ivy League, and that would be Upton Bell superb, since they were 1-9 a year ago.
Well, if you ask me, you know, everybody will probably say that Jerry Burt is the coach of the year, assuming that Penn wins up at Cornell today. But I would have to tell you that I think that your friend Carm Koza has done as good a job at bringing a football team around that's faced the last 2 years of disaster of any coach that I've seen in a long time. He's got his kids playing confidently from the very first time that we saw them play when we did the game against Dartmouth, and talking to him on that Friday. Man's faced a lot of problems in the last 2 years, and all of a sudden he had a team that was 1-9, team that didn't win any games, and they turned it around this year, and essentially, Dick, with almost the same personnel. So actually what he has done, I think, is really a terrific job no matter what happens.
What happened to them a year ago was the injury factor, and they came in.
They were coming in. I think it's going to be very close in the second half. It's a terrific game so far.
Certainly is. Derek, are we going to be able to make a comeback here? Or what are your senses?
Absolutely. It's a test of character, and I have no doubt that the Harvard team will prove worthy on the occasion.
Gentlemen, I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about the nature of this rivalry, what it means to the two schools and to the alumni that are all watching this. Maybe start with Derek on this.
Well, it's a very exciting game. I think you never see so many Harvard men in one place as you do for this game. 100 years ago, the Harvard Advocate accused the Yale team of trying so hard to win that they resorted to biting their opponents. I'm glad to see I saw no evidence of that this afternoon, and I look forward to a very good second half.
Bart, for the comeback?
We haven't played the second half yet, so I don't know why Derek's so confident he's seen everything. Fact is, there's a real comradeship that comes through competition. And I think that's what this means to not only the students who play this game, but to the people who've watched over the years and to the people who care about both institutions. It's a community made of competition, and that's fine. It's great.
I wonder if you gentlemen are responsible for the teams coming in with equal 5-3 records. Is that planned so that the presidents would have this runoff for the 6-3?
Yes, we like this. We're long-range planning is one of our strong suits.
Yes, I sent in just enough plays from the halftime to make sure that we lost those 3 games.
Derek, thanks very much. Brad, good luck in the second half.
And, of course, that was Vic Gatto, former Harvard great, interviewing both presidents at Harvard and Yale University. Well, in the first Ivy League football game of the week, our raconteur and historian reporter Bud Collins told us about the history of Ivy League football. Well, today he'd like to share some thoughts and some vintage film about the game.
I hope you're enjoying today's The Game, or The Game, or however you pronounce it. It's capital T, capital G. I learned that when I first started in the newspaper business in Boston years ago. You don't say Harvard-Yale game. That's redundant because it can only mean one thing when you say the game. It is Harvard-Yale. Everybody in Boston or New Haven or across the globe, in pockets where old Harvards and Yales hang out, everybody knows that. The game. Now, if there's ever been an old-school tie football game, this is it. And I try to remain neutral. I'm untainted by a Harvard or a Yale education, and so I can be impartial and look at it just as a fan. And I do agree that this is one of the world's great sporting traditions, even though most of the world probably isn't even aware of its existence. But it does go back to 1875. This is the 101st meeting of Harvard and Yale at football, and it has set the pace for college football. When the Harvards started out, they played a game like rugby. The Yales played a game a little bit like soccer, but they got together to blend, and that brought us American college football. And there's been some spirit about the game. Harvard had a coach named Percy Houghton, so the story goes. And one day before the game, he appeared in the locker room to exhort his troops. He cradled in his arms a bulldog, a live bulldog, the symbol of Yale. And as he urged his men to be earnest out there on the field, he casually dismembered that bulldog before their eyes. Yale also had a coach just as lighthearted. His name was T.A.D. Jones. Before one of the games, "Men, today you are going to play against Harvard. Never again in your lives will you do anything so important." I suspect he was right. But you know, there was a time when the game could decide the national championship. Harvard and Yale were powers to be reckoned with. And even up into the 1930s. Take 1931, when two backs as fine as any you'll ever see, Barry Wood for Harvard and Little Boy Blue, Albie Booth for Yale, played in the game, which was won by Booth's field goal, 3-0 for Yale. During the 1930s, Yale had two spectacular All-Americans, end Larry Kelly and quarterback Clint Frank. It was a Clint Frank to Larry Kelly pass that helped win the 1935 game. Kelly scoring as he did every year he played against Harvard. Who can forget number 99 for Yale in 1952, Charlie Yeager, 5'5", 138 pounds. He was the student manager, but they put him in the game, and he caught an extra point as Yale won 41-7. In 1955, Yale won once again. But the thing that most football historians will remember is that a future politician, Ted Kennedy, caught a pass for Harvard's only touchdown. In 1957, Yale won 54-0. That's the biggest margin of victory in the history of the game. Yale won with quarterback Dick Winterbauer completing 9 of 12 passes for 3 touchdowns. In 1967 and 68, Yale was again a juggernaut. In 67, they averaged 35.5 points a game with Brian Dowling at quarterback and Calvin Hill doing much of the running. But 1968, perhaps this is the all-time the game. Remember? Harvard scoring 16 points in the last 43 seconds on those passes. Frank Champion to Vic Gatto. And Harvard wins, as they said, 29-29. In 1974, Yale had another unbeaten powerhouse, led by quarterback Tom Doyle and split end Gary Fensick. And yet, with only 5:07 left and Harvard trailing 16-14, Harvard got the ball in its own 10. And from there, Milt Holt marched the Crimson upfield with passes to Pat McAnally and Steve Dart. Then, with only 19 seconds to go and the ball on the Yale 1-yard line, Holt ran to his left looking to pass. Everybody was covered, so he ran into the end zone. Final score, 21-16 Harvard. Between 1976 and 1981, Yale was murdered. They won or shared 5 Ivy titles, beating Harvard 5 of the 6 times they met. The last 2 years, 1982 and 83, Harvard has shared the Ivy title with Penn. And in both years, The Crimson beat Yale. In 1983, Harvard sacked Yale quarterback Mike Curtin 5 times in the first half and went on to win when Steve Ernst ran for a short touchdown in the fourth quarter to break a 7-7 tie. It was the Crimson 16-7, but Yale leads in the series, 54 wins, 38 losses, 8 ties. Presently, you will witness the closing rite of this rivalry that is no more serious than life and death. This is the hanky wave, the victors waving at the vanquished. Many cases of hanky elbow reported after each the game. You ask, are the hankies clean, or is this germ warfare? You'll have to ask a Harvard or Yale man.
How are your germs, Dick?
I've blown my nose all afternoon. All right, around the league, you see Penn out in front of Cornell, and that's the game. 21-7, Brown over Columbia in the second quarter. Princeton leading Dartmouth 14-3. Syracuse in the third quarter over Boston College.
Always give them trouble.
Always. And there you see Florida leading Kentucky in the fourth quarter by 8. Now, here's an upset. If this one holds up in the third quarter, Navy over South Carolina, 21-7.
So much
a lot of that schedule of South Carolina's question. Look at Notre Dame and Penn State, 31-7, as Jerry Faust tries to make friends.
Prayer is back on the football field, 31-7.
And here at Harvard Stadium in Cambridge, Massachusetts, our halftime story. And now we'll take a look at the statistics of the first half. And when you get down to those turnovers, you'll see Crimson with 2 and Yale with 1. And that was very costly to Harvard. Penalties, 5 for 35. But
look at that 78-5
right.
yards rushing.
That's the story in itself. And the passing, not that much disparity there. Well, those are the halftime statistics. Now, we'd just like to mention that in the recent past, Harvard University has been altering its venerable athletic complex. Athletic Director John Reardon would like to tell you about some new facilities to which the students can look forward.
In the last several years, thanks to the generosity and efforts of several alumni and friends, Harvard has been able to expand and significantly upgrade its facilities for intercollegiate, intramural, and recreational athletics. The construction of Blodgett Pool in 1978 provides our swimming and diving teams and many recreational users with a magnificent world-class pool. Renovations to the adjacent Briggs Athletic Center 2 years ago include a new basketball floor, retractable bleachers, and a removable AstroTurf covering for indoor practice and training. Remodeling of the Dillon Fieldhouse in 1982 made possible expanded medical facilities for men's and women's teams, as well as locker rooms and coaching staff offices. The neighboring Alexander H. Bright Hockey Arena, reconstructed in 1979 from the original Watson Rink, provide our hockey teams and skaters with one of the finest facilities in the country. Similarly, the Albert H. Gordon Track and Tennis Center, dedicated in 1982, boasts one of the fastest indoor running surfaces in the world, as well as tennis courts and space for track and field events. And, of course, the 80-year-old Harvard Stadium, the site of today's game, and Olympic soccer this past summer, received extensive structural renovation in 1982. Many of these improvements at Soldiers Field were funded with gifts to the $350 million Harvard campaign, which ends next month. As part of this effort, we hope to raise $6 million to renovate what is perhaps the most heavily used athletic facility at Harvard, the 50-year-old indoor athletic building located across the Charles River next to our residential houses.
And now let's go to Sean McDonough on the sidelines with the athletic directors of Harvard and Yale.
All right, thank you very much, Dick. Frank Ryan, the athletic director at Yale. What a first half for your team. Got down 14-0. I imagine you, along with all of the other Yale contingent, were starting to get worried, but you really turned it around.
Well, we were. You know, at that rate, it would have been 112-0 by the end of the game, but our team came back very well and showed their class, and it's going to be a very competitive ball game in the second half.
All right, Jack Reardon, as I mentioned, Frank, your team got off to a fast start and then kind of slowed down, and Yale came back to take the lead. But you've been around Harvard a long time, and you've seen some great Harvard comebacks in your time. Do you think we can expect another one here this afternoon?
I think we're going to need it. It seemed to me we got off to maybe a start that was too fast, and we picked up an awful lot of penalties and couldn't hold the ball. Dropped punts and not ready for an onside kick. And I expect that we'll play better in the second half because it's not possible to play worse than we did during part of that first half.
We should point out moments ago, Jack and Frank and I looked up at the flags that have been blowing so strongly throughout the day, and the Harvard flag's at half-mast, and Jack was beginning to wonder why it had been that way. Frank, we've throughout the day been showing standings of other sports for your teams in the Ivy League, and I know, for example, your men's soccer team has done very well. How's the rest of the program going?
Well, it's doing very well. You know, one of the things that distinguishes our sports at Yale and Harvard and in the Ivy League from other schools is that we offer a lot of opportunities for varsity athletes. And so we have women's soccer, women's field hockey, cross country to go with men's soccer, football, and cross country in the fall. And Yale has been very competitive in all these sports. And I've got to tip my hat to Harvard and their soccer program. They beat Yale today 1-0. They're a very fine soccer team, and they're going to the NCAA playoffs.
Yes, indeed they are. Frank went into your soccer team, and there was a lot of talk about that soccer team. Some people felt that Harvard should have been invited to the NCAA tournament.
Well, we won 10 of our last 11 games after losing 3 of our first 4, and I think we've turned into a very fine soccer team. The NCAA tournament committee are people that we don't really know very well, so I'm sure there's no favoritism at all. I think it's a soccer team that's going to do well, and I think it'll give Connecticut a great game next Sunday in Storrs, Connecticut.
Well, I know you have one of the great, bright young minds in college soccer, James Shattuck. He's a terrific coach.
He's a fabulous coach, and I'm thrilled that he's at Harvard, and I look forward to him building a super team for us.
Just for Upton's benefit, we should point out that Jape's brother, Alden, is the soccer coach in Syracuse. Gentlemen, very quickly, for you personally, the nature of the rivalry, what does Harvard-Yale mean to you, Frank?
It means everything to have a rival like Harvard that we can occasionally beat, as I think we will today.
Well, I hope you heard that over the din of the band as they leave the field. Jack, for you personally, Harvard-Yale.
What's that?
What does it mean to you, Harvard-Yale?
Well, I don't think there's anything quite like it in the world. I've enjoyed it for a long time, and even though we're behind today, I look forward to a hell of a second half, and you know, it's the tradition of the thing. It's worth being out here.
Well, you can see these gentlemen are friendly rivals, and it's been a very friendly rivalry over the years. Let's go back to the booth.
And back up here in the booth, Dick Galliotte and Upton Bell. I might point out, just in case that got by some people, because a lot of people are interested in that soccer score. It was Harvard beating Yale 1-0 in soccer today, and Harvard, of course, is NCAA playoff bound with their soccer team.
Well, then bring the soccer team over here to kick for Harvard, because they're having trouble with their kicking game as we see that score there, and we really have had an exciting first half. Maybe, Dick, the most exciting first half we've had all year long on the Ivy League Game of the Week, and we're going to take a look at some of the highlights.
Well, this is when Brian White and company started it off, Upton. The first time they had the ball.
And the only time he had real good protection till the end, and Vignali beats his man deep downfield, number 39, who is the defensive back, Mike Jarkson. He got him one-on-one, and that started them off pretty quickly. Now we're going to take a look at Yale's touchdown, and this is Mr. Spivak, who has come in and played a tremendous role for Yale. Number 43 just comes over his center, powers his way, knocks over number 18, K.C. Smith, and takes himself the extra 2 yards into the end zone. Great run on the short yardage by Paul Spivak. And there is your man of the hour, and everybody's man of the hour, with the way his teams come back, Carm Koza. Tell him to smile, will you please?
Well, they're getting ready for the second half kickoff, and Harvard's deep men back there will be Joe Pusatari, number 42, and Rufus Jones, number 31. We look at the crowd, and
now we're going to look at Kevin Moriarty. This is one of the few times that Mike Curtin drops straight back and throws over the top. Kevin Moriarty has beaten the corner 85 Tarksey and also number 3 Cox. Now he weaves his way down the field, finally caught from behind by number 18 K.C. Smith. Here's the touchdown again, a short plunge by 43, that man again who stepped in here today, Paul Spivak, and Yale takes the lead, and they've got the lead. Let's start the second half.
And here is the kickoff from Moore, and it's going to go out of bounds, so we'll do it all over again. Here's an interesting statistic, Upton Bell. Mark McNally had 7 carries for 26 yards and a rushing touchdown in the first half. Robert Santiago only carried twice for 4 yards. White had 6 carries for minus 24 yards, and he was 1 for 1 passing for a 35-yard touchdown to Vignali.
Well, either his knee is bothering him, and we'll watch him again closely as he comes out to see whether they're tightened up at all at halftime, or Yale's defense is doing a great job of cutting off those holes and those cutbacks. And we're going to take a look now. There is the right knee of Brian White. You can see he's padded pretty well. He's jumping up and down on it, but there's a lot difference between jumping up and down on it and trying to cut on it. And I think that Yale's defense will be looking early to see what he does, especially if he sprints out. You can see heavily padded, heavily taped.
And we'll be kicking off from the 35-yard line now. Will be Moore. After the 5-yard penalty was assessed, it gets caught in the wind immediately. And taken there by Pusatari, and he starts upfield with a lot of room. And Pusatari gets Harvard excellent field position as he takes it to the 40-yard line. As Andrew Dudley, a linebacker for Yale, made the tackle on the kickoff in this 101st Yale-Harvard football game. Yale has lost to Harvard for the past 2 years. The last time that Yale won was 1981. That was a 28-0 affair. And then up here at Cambridge, the last time Yale won was in 80. That was 14-0. Harvard first down and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Art Vignali, and he is hit almost behind the line of scrimmage. Getting in there quickly, Iacobucci. Dean Iacobucci, 55, and Pat Maloney, 84.
Iacobucci has really played well today in getting into that hole quickly before the running back gets there. We'll take a look at the linebackers. Olakwa, number 40, we're going to take a look at Harmon Olakwa as he gets rid of the blocker and makes the play. Also 56, Ardell McKenna.
Live action, 2nd and 10. Brian White is chased down, gets the ball away, attempts to get it to Sabara, but putting the pressure on Yves Labissiere, the sophomore who missed most of the year for Yale with a badly separated shoulder, is playing with a shoulder harness that limits his mobility of the arm.
And Yale can thank him because he's the man that made the play on the 2-yard line last week to stop the Princeton drive and start your friend the Bulldog over there. Look at that guy. They get him in the game.
That's Handsome Dan saying hello to you, Upton.
Well, they started that drive because of his play and won the ball game against Princeton.
3rd down and 10, and Harvard is 0 for 3 in 3rd down conversions. And they put the pressure on and knocked the ball right out of his hands. Iacobucci picked it up. Of course, you can't advance it. But Yale will have the ball at the 30-yard line of Harvard. Dean Iacobucci, number 55, the junior out of Hamburg, New York.
He comes clear, completely clear, number 55. This time, White is dropping straight back. He has nobody protecting in front of him. The right guard, you see Iacobucci comes right inside the center. 59, Jensen makes the play. They are getting pressure. They evidently now know that Brian White is going to have to drop back and pass, which means, A, that he is having problem with the knee.
Yale with the first down. Mike Curtin, the quarterback, puts Luzzy in motion. McCauley hit from behind. They're going to be dropped back at around the 27-yard line. Well, Brian Bergstrom puts the hit on him.
And if Jim Morris, number 87, did not make the saving tackle, he'd have been around that corner for about 10 yards. They can now put the game at their own pace, Dick, realizing what we must know, that Brian White does not have that mobility back there.
2nd down and 7. 2nd down and 7 for Yale. Line of scrimmage is the 26. And this time he gets nailed behind the line of scrimmage as Dan Bennett leads the charge for Harvard. Number 46.
Well, they were watching that play. What he does here is he pulls both the guard and the tackle. The handoff is to McCauley with the guard and tackle leading. And this time Bennett got inside that lead before anybody could get trapped and make the play.
3rd down and 8 now. Line of scrimmage the 28 of Harvard. Moriarty goes out wide on the right side. Spivak and McCauley in the eye.
Here they come.
Mike Curtin throwing down for Luzzy. Can't get it. Going downfield with him step for step. Cecil Cox, number 3, but overthrown.
Good pursuit. They got good angles on Curtin. He had some time to throw, but Cox really did cover Luzzy very well, but he scrambled out of that, but there was good pressure on him this time. They weren't going to let him get outside, and he didn't have enough time to throw. They sent their linebackers, but at the proper angle.
Well, it's 4th down and 8. And into the face of that wind, you will not attempt a field goal. So Yale will be going for it on the 4th and 8. at the 28 of Harvard.
And a good call.
Yale split wide on the right side. And slotted.
Big pushing for Moriarty. Big one.
Looking for Moriarty. Turns around. Can't get it. And gives a little over-the-shoulder look and saying, well, Cox bumped me, but the official says no go.
No, and actually Moriarty ran into it, Dick.
Oh, I understand that, but I'm saying he was just trying to give him a little, give him a little look.
Well, he was talking about look. Here's Curtin with pressure on him by number 12, Steve Anderson, who makes him throw it up too early. And actually Moriarty couldn't see the ball. Fine defense by Cox, number 3, but they are again giving Moriarty too much room to run his patterns.
When you're talking about Mr. Cox, you are talking about one of the best that plays that position in this league. All right, Harvard was not burned on the turnover, so they have the ball, first down at their own 28. And Santiago across the 30 up to the 35-yard line. And Upton, that just brings to mind, I just don't think you can keep him out of the offense much longer. You've got to put the ball in his hand, number 14.
Well, what they're doing in that formation, they move Vignali and Santiago up within 2 yards or less of the line of scrimmage, and it looks like they're going to try and get the quick opener, the trap as quick as they can to get those 2 ball carriers to the line of scrimmage, try to take advantage of some of the quickness up front.
Second down and 3 for Harvard at their own 35. They try the middle, and this time there's no going as Labissiere and Zaneski put the stop on almost at the line of scrimmage.
It's also interesting in their formations, which sometimes tell you what somebody is going to do. They are no longer, at least in this series, running out of the eye. They are running out of almost split backs. Looks like a wing T. They're trying to get these people close to the line of scrimmage, see if they can do a little trapping, a little counter.
Third down and 4, and Harvard is 0 for 4 in third down conversions this afternoon. White rolls out. Myers over the middle, wide open. It's McGaw, Bill McGaw, to the midfield stripe and in Yale territory at the 49. Bill McGaw brought down by Jarkson. And
this time they use play action off this same formation. They fake to Vignali. He rolls to the left, gets just enough time for McGaw, number 82, coming from the right side as the tight end in this formation, and he clears behind the linebackers. Good call, good play.
Well, Harvard picks up the crucial first down on the third down conversion, and they move off as it looked like Mike Pascucci moved off. Number 62 for Harvard, the right guard.
Well, he's trying to come off the football. They have been beaten at the line of scrimmage most of the day coming off the ball, and there's a tendency once you start to move it, as White does a smart thing, he walks over to Pascucci and says, okay, Goomba, everything's all right, we'll start again. But they're coming off the ball now a little bit better.
That'll make it first down and 15.
Dead ball. False start. 5 yards on the offense.
Line of scrimmage, the 47-yard line. The center for Harvard, number 59, Sam Jensen. George Sabara, number 40, shifts to a wing. Robert Santiago gets the call, tries to go one place, the second place, and is closed down. Quinn is in there, but also having him around the ankles was Bob Keenan, number 81, defensive end.
The guy who made that play was 69, John Zaneski. Stepped right in the hole. He bounced off Zaneski. They are just jumping Zaneski up and down the line. He is not actually playing nose tackle. He is to the strength of the formation, and he has the freedom now that he said he didn't have at the beginning of this year to roam up and down that line. I'll tell you, he is like a hammer.
Second down and 14 now for Harvard at the 48. White rolls to the right.
He's open.
Fires incomplete. Looking for Steve Abbott, the captain, and tight end for Harvard, number 88.
Actually, number 14, Mr. Santiago, was open. Now, here's number 69, John Zaneski, blocking against Roger Caron. And Caron is fully 3 or 4 inches bigger than he is, but Zaneski still gets to the quarterback after the play, gives him a pleasant little shove to remind him he'll be back again.
And 50 pounds.
Yeah. That's amazing. And Caron really is considered by many people a top pro prospect and a heck of a football player, but this guy has given him everything he can handle today.
Third down and 14 now. We have a triple split on the right side for Harvard on the 48-yard line. White fires over the middle. Santiago wide open. He may go.
He's going to go.
That pass.
He's going to go.
Here comes no, he's in. He's in. Touchdown.
Goodbye.
48-yard pass play for a touchdown from White to Robert Santiago.
Joe Rustic finally coming back with some of the things that he used in his multiplex offense for the first time. That was 52 yards, and what he did is he put Santiago, number 14, out with 2 other receivers in the slot. White has time to throw. Santiago is running a short post pattern. He breaks the tackle by number 39, Mike Jarkson, and it is goodbye. As I said at the top of the show, the only real all the way back in the league. He just runs away from people, but now they're using him where he can really help them.
All right, now here's Steinberg attempting to break the tie. And hits the goal post and goes through. It is Harvard 21, Yale 20. Hits the goal post and goes through.
Is that an omen?
It may be an omen.
Look at Mr. Robert Santiago winking at us. And he ought to. It really was a great call at that time when they were not moving anywhere as Santiago is taking congratulations. Now watch this extra point from the end zone. The ball hits the inside of the bar, and watch it ping, ping to the inside of the goal post, and it's good. That might be an omen.
It might be, but that's the kind of series this series is. Anything can happen. Anything usually does happen.
And in that case, we're going to get some scores from Sean McDonough. I guess we'll hear about Syracuse again, Dick.
Some scores from around the country. In the 4th quarter, Boston College has taken the lead over Syracuse 14-10. Florida leads Kentucky 22-17. They're also in the 4th quarter. Navy way out in front of second-ranked South Carolina 31-7. That game is being played in Annapolis there in the 3rd quarter. And Notre Dame out in front of Penn State 34-7. They're only in the 2nd quarter. At the half, it's Clemson and Maryland tied at 17. 4th quarter, Ohio State 7 and Michigan 6. Now for the kickoff.
Steinberg kicking off. The deep men. Luzzy, number 10, moving up on the ball for Yale. Takes it at the 15. Cuts.
He's got a path.
Got a block. Up to the 30. And goes up to the 35 and to the 36-yard line.
And we've got a flag down, and I believe we've got clipping.
Bill Highland made the tackle.
You know, when you have somebody going back and forth and peeling back and trying to get away from tacklers, that's when your people get their head not completely in front of the other person. And we got pushing here, which is interference, and we got 15 yards. Dick, going back to that scoring play, again, the strategy of football, which is most different from any other sport. Joe Rustic was not clearly moving the ball on the ground. His quarterback was limited in his movement. We'll listen to the official.
Use of the hands on the run back. 5 yards.
His club was clearly limited by his quarterback and the ability not to move the ball on the ground, so he went to one of his new formations, triples right, and he got his back open, and the fastest guy on the field scored.
And that's what you want to do. I'll say that again. You know, get that ball in his hands. Number 14. First down, Yale at the 23. Wilkinson in on the tackle, and down on the sideline, Sean McDonough with more scores.
All right, Dick, in the 3rd quarter, Oklahoma State leads Iowa State 13-7. 4th quarter, West Virginia 10, Temple 10. West Virginia really struggling. Virginia supposedly on its way to a bowl game, trailing North Carolina 14-3 in the 3rd quarter. 2 other games quickly. BYU and Utah tied at 7 in the 2nd quarter. Rutgers leads Colgate 10-7 in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, with a 2nd down and 7 at their own 27. McCauley gets the call, but that interior of Harvard's defensive unit closes down very quickly. Dan Bennett 46, Jim Morris 87.
When something isn't working, change. That counter and the pulling the guard and the tackle is no longer working. Harvard has closed it off. They've got to find something else to do.
And of course, in the 3rd quarter, well, although the flag up on top shows the wind would be at Yale's back this time, in the 1st quarter when they had it this way, it wasn't. So I don't know if it's swirling that way on the field or not. 3rd down and 6. Line of scrimmage to 27. Sun now poking out.
Moriarty's got room.
Burton looking for Murata. No good. Incomplete. At the 38-yard line, and Cecil Cox, number 3, covering.
He was so close to him, you could almost call interference on that play. He was with him as the ball was coming, and I think Murata felt that maybe he was hit ahead of time. He's holding his leg. Now Curtin throws off balance, trying to hit Murata. You can see Cox on there, and I do believe that that was interference. I do believe that he was holding his arm. And Murata appears to have pulled a muscle in the back of his leg on that, Dick.
He's limping off, but he seems to be getting stronger as he gets closer to that sideline. So it's 4th down and 6, and Hank Eaton who averages 39 yards a punt coming into the ball game, will be punting from his own 15-yard line of scrimmage to 27. Chuck Shirey back there at around the 33 for Harvard.
And I'm sure they told him stay away.
Bad snap from center again, and this one goes straight up. No distance, and Harvard players getting away from it so it doesn't hit any of them. And the ball will be blown dead at the 40, the Harvard 40-yard line. And that's where the Crimson will take over with a 21-20 lead.
One of the things we saw right there, because a game could be decided on it, was again almost another mistake. You tell your players to stay away from the football. Number 48, Brent Wilkinson, tried to throw a block on the Yale defender and almost blocked himself into the ball. If he had hit the ball, it was a live ball, and Yale could have recovered. You've got to stay away from the football.
All right, Harvard with the lead. Now has a first down at their own 40. They have Coyne out there wide and Sabara in a slot. White always looking left, and here's Zaneski, strips him of the ball, but White picks it up. And White is going to take a hit up at the 45 as Maloney gets in there first and Bob Keenan comes in there second.
John Zaneski, number 69. You want to see a great picture of quickness and speed on the defensive line. Sam Jensen, he's playing on the center. He gets a piece of Jensen to his left and runs right by him like he isn't there. Gets a piece of White, who fumbles the football. But imagine having to face this guy going up and down the line, and again, he only weighs 210 pounds.
Ryan White has passed only 5 times, completed 3 for 105 yards, however, and 2 touchdowns. It is 2nd and 5. McNally up around the 48-yard line. That'd still be short of the first down. Ardell McKenna, 56, the first to get to him. It'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2.
To see the strength of the Yale defense, all you have to do is look at 56 McKenna, 40 Alakwa, and 69 Zaneski. They are 1, 2, 3 in tackles, and there he is, and he's breathing heavily. Dick, did you send him any signals down there?
His coach describes him as energy. Uses one word to describe him, as a person who never stops. 3rd down and 2, Harvard. McNally in motion. Line of scrimmage, the 48. White wants to throw. He's there. Over the middle, wide open. That's Bill McGaugh again, the tight end, and he's to the 25-yard line of Yale. No. Bill McGaugh, the senior from Crestville, New Jersey, 6'2", 210-pounder, comes up with another key Harvard first down.
Quick drop by Brian White. Quick throw. The tight end is wide open in this defense between or behind the linebackers. And all there is left is one defensive back, and that's number 39, Jarkson, that can bring him down. But they're finding holes now in that Yale defense between the 2 linebackers, and they're going to take advantage of it until they stop it.
Joel Say, number 25 in the Harvard lineup, and he's out wide on the right-hand side on this first down at the 25. They go to Santiago at the 20. And Santiago inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Carmen Alakwa making the tackle, number 40 for Yale.
Is that the first Harvard screen we've seen this year?
Very close to it.
Very close to it. They are beginning to mix their plays very well. They're also finding that Yale's defense is pursuing so aggressively that they're able now to take some of the pressure off by hitting the tight end in the middle of that defense, taking a little bit off by putting their running backs out wide.
Going to take a hit up at the 45 as Maloney gets in there first and Bob Keenan comes in there second.
John Zaneski, number 69. You want to see a great picture of quickness and speed on the defensive line. Sam Jensen, he's playing on the center. He gets a piece of Jensen to his left and runs right by him like he isn't there. Gets a piece of White, who fumbles the football. But imagine having to face this guy going up and down the line, and again, he only weighs 210 pounds.
Ryan White has passed only 5 times, completed 3 for 105 yards, however, and 2 touchdowns. It is 2nd and 5. McNally up around the 48-yard line. That'd still be short of the first down. Ardell McKenna, 56, the first to get to him. It'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2.
To see the strength of the Yale defense, all you have to do is look at 56 McKenna, 40 Alakwa, and 69 Zaneski. They are 1, 2, 3 in tackles, and there he is, and he's breathing heavily. Dick, did you send him any signals down there?
His coach describes him as energy. Uses one word to describe him, as a person who never stops. 3rd down and 2, Harvard. McNally in motion. Line of scrimmage, the 48. White wants to throw. He's there. Over the middle, wide open. That's Bill McGaugh again, the tight end, and he's to the 25-yard line of Yale. No. Bill McGaugh, the senior from Crestville, New Jersey, 6'2", 210-pounder, comes up with another key Harvard first down.
quick drop by Brian White. Quick throw. The tight end is wide open in this defense between or behind the linebackers, and all there is left is one defensive back, and that's number 39, Jarkson, that can bring him down. But they're finding holes now in that Yale defense between the two linebackers, and they're going to take advantage of it until they stop it.
Joel Say, number 25 in the Harvard lineup, and he's on wide on the right-hand side on this first down at the 25.
Screen.
They go to Santiago at the 20. And Santiago inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Carmen Alacqua making the tackle, number 40 for Yale.
Is that the first Harvard screen we've seen this year?
Very close to it.
Very close to it. They are beginning to mix their plays very well. They're also finding that Yale's defense is pursuing so aggressively that they're able now to take some of the pressure off by hitting the tight end in the middle of that defense, taking a little bit off by putting the running backs out wide, and also screening, in this case, to Santiago. It is working at this present moment.
Second down and 2 now for Harvard at the Yale 17. Dignali close to the first down at the 15-yard line. We'll see where they mark it.
He was stopped by John Quinn.
John Quinn, 16. Ardell McKenna, 56, in on that stop. Mark Vignali, as we said in the previous Harvard game, underneath that helmet, a bright shock of red hair. It'll be third down and a yard for the first down. And Harvard has called timeout. And they have that 1-point lead.
Well, it's a 1-point lead, 6:07 on the clock. The wind's still a factor as far as they're concerned. Their play has to be the right call. They'd like to get another score now because they probably figure we need a 10 or better pad in the fourth quarter with Yale coming back with the wind against us. Even though it seems to have died down a little bit, at least up here. You've got to get that pad because you figure your kicker's going to shank some balls. Maybe you get a fumble. They're going to have good field position most of that quarter. You'd like to have 8 to 10 points because that's what will happen.
Sean McDonough has some more information for us.
All righty, field hockey is the subject. Ivy League, women's field hockey, of course, and we can see that Brown and Dartmouth and Penn all checked in at 5-1. For Dartmouth, Tony Parrott played in goal all 14 games. She was terrific, had an 85% save percentage, and allowed just 19 goals in 14 games overall. Nikki DeMarcus, a junior, was their leading scorer with 8 points.
Third down and 1 at the 15.
There it is.
And Brian White carries, and Brian White scores for Harvard. He romps 15 yards for the score. Brian White.
Nothing wrong with his knee on that play.
Sure wasn't.
Yale was looking to stop the short yardage. He kept the ball on the keeper. We're going to see it. Ground level. He's going to come down the line. He sees the opening immediately when number 16, John Quinn, steps in. He steps inside of him. Now he jitterbugs his way into the end zone with a little flying dive, and the knee was okay there. Here's another shot of him carrying the football on the left arm, carrying it properly. Watch the move here. A little quickness, then he dives into the end zone, disdaining the knee injury.
And now on the extra point attempt, Steinberg misses it. And so the score is 27-20. Harvard out in front of Yale.
Steinberg's had a tough 2 weeks. He really has. And part of it could be that the wind and Yale getting in there and getting some penetration. But he just, it seems as when Harvard will take a look at Brian White here, he's got to be a very happy man over on the bench. And he's probably keeping his
We're
lead.
going to pause just a moment in our coverage of this game between the Crimson and the Bulldogs with the score. Harvard 27, Yale 20.
Ivy League football is brought to you by the Travelers, the same people who have provided value in insurance and financial services for over a century. The Travelers, where fairness is good business. GTE, the company that can provide complete telecommunications networks for voice as well as data. American Brands, whose operations include Master Locks, Sunshine Biscuits, Pinkerton's Protective Services, and Titleist Golf Products. And by
American Express, cards, traveler's checks, and vacation stores. American Express. Don't leave home without us.
This is the Eastern Educational Network.
This is Channel 2 Boston, public television for New England.
Here at Harvard Stadium with 6:02 left to play in the third quarter. Harvard has gone out in front of Yale 27-20. The extra point attempt was missed by Rob Steinberg, as we see some snow flurries in the air now.
Snow flurries is still anybody's game. 7 points.
And Steinberg will be kicking off. The deep men for Yale are Luzzy, number 10, and McCauley, 26. And it's scooped up at the 20-yard line. Up to the 35. And Eli's Chip Bonney returned that and brought down by Jerry Leone, defensive back for Harvard.
One thing that's happened today, none of the deep men that want to return the kickoffs have been able to do it because of what's happened of laying the ball down there.
No, Harvard took off 3 minutes off the clock on their scoring drive, the one that punched them back out in front. They would have had the 8-point margin if not for the missed extra point. Mike Curtin, number 7, quarterbacking the Eli attack. And Stewart in the lineup again, Mike Stewart. And he can't find much running room, and he's brought down at about the line of scrimmage. Stewart, as we pointed out, number 18, has played quarterback. He's played wide receiver. He's now playing tailback in this game.
And you still might see him as a quarterback.
Second down and 10 as there was no gain on the play. Marty Martinson, number 51, the center, and Yale captain brings them out of the huddle. Yale has Moriarty wide on the left and Murata in motion to the right side. They try the middle with Spivak, and Spivak gets some room, and Spivak across midfield into Harvard territory, finally dragged down by Brent Wilkinson. He gets it down to the 47-yard line and picks up the Yale first down.
That's just pure second effort by number 43, Paul Spivak. Sprint draw to Spivak. He comes back over the left side. Watch the spin move as he breaks the tackle of Wilkinson here. Finally brought down 8 yards after he should have been. Good fun.
Yale with a first down at the Harvard 47. Spivak with 58 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in the ball game. Stewart gets the call, trying to turn that corner. We'll go out of bounds at around the 40. Pick up about 5 there. Cecil Cox, number 3, drives him out of bounds. Cox, the junior out of Dorchester, Massachusetts, 6'4", 195-pounder.
Made a big play there because Spivak had gotten a good piece of Cox. Cox fought off Spivak and still got Stewart as he went around the corner.
It'll be second down and 6 now at the 41. Moriarty out there wide on the left. Yale in the eye. Murata, the wing, comes in motion to the right. Spivak up the middle and tries the second effort and gets and fumbles the football, and it was blown dead. Blown dead back at the 36-yard line. Well, it'll be Yale's possession. Dave Finicos made the stop on the play. Number 51.
Sometimes when you're so intent on breaking a tackle, that's how you lose the football, particularly on a day like today when it is cold.
And Yale picks up another first down with that at the Harvard 36-yard line. 4:35 remaining in the third quarter. It is Harvard out in front, 27-20. 52-yard pass play to Santiago, made it 21-20. Mike Curtin.
He's going deep.
And what a catch at the 30-yard line by Mike Luzzy, who hung on when he was hit. So although not a huge gainer, it picked up 6 yards, but a fine fingertip catch. Brent Wilkinson put a hit on him.
Actually, Luzzy was the second man. Luzzy, number 10, watch him jump in the air like a basketball player. He takes a great shot from behind by number 48, Brent Wilkinson. On that play, Luzzy was the secondary receiver. They wanted to go deep to Moriarty, but there was good coverage there.
Second down and 4, Yale at the Harvard 30. Luzzy has 2 receptions for 16 yards in the game. This time around in motion to the left side. They give it to McCauley. McCauley, he high steps it to the 20-yard line and another first down. Steve Anderson trips him up, but McCauley picks up the first down. Coming into the ball game today, McCauley had 382 yards rushing.
The thing that impresses you about McCauley from the I formation, the tailback, he reads 43's block Spivak and then cuts to the right side. He does a great job of cutting back, reading the block, bumping to the outside.
Yeah, with the ball on the Harvard 19. McCauley at 65 yards rushing. Luzzy in motion. Spivak tries to go off his left guard, Matthews, and he's stacked up by Dave Finicos, the middle guard, 51 of Harvard.
On that last play, 26 McCauley, I believe, hurt himself. He's holding his side, and I think he was hit pretty hard, and it'd be interesting to see now what happens. Guy stays in the game and gets hit like that. What happens the next time he carries the football?
2nd down and 9 as Eli's come out of the huddle on the 19. The line of scrimmage remained the same. There was no gain in the last play. This time they moved Moriarty over to the right side wide. Harvard with the 5-man front. McCauley slices to the 15. Picks up about 5. Dan Bennett, 46, met him head on.
Yale seems to be able to move the football pretty well on the ground anytime they get inside Harvard's 30.
They get fired up when they get in there and they smell that goal line. They're down by 7. 3rd down conversions this afternoon. Yale has completed 4 out of 14 attempts. 2:14 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Luzzy goes out wide on the split side on the right. They're wide on the left as well on this 3rd down and 4.
Got him open.
And he hits Moriarty at the 6. That's a 1st down. It'll be goal to go. 1st and goal to go.
Well, you talk about an outstanding receiver, Kevin Moriarty, number 82. We're going to see him on this replay. Curtin is moving to his left, both backs out in front. He has just a little bit of time to throw on the break. 82 Moriarty. Brian Bergstrom, number 27, is covering him. Again, they are so fearful of this guy, they are giving him a lot of room to run his patterns, particularly to the sideline.
All right, 1st and goal to go, Yale. On the 7-yard line of Harvard, Luzzy comes in motion to the right side. It's Spivak up the middle. He turns inside to the 4-yard line before Finicos and company bring him down.
I think he's got to be very careful with that spin move of his when his back is to the defense, that he holds that ball in tight or he's going to fumble it.
I agree with you. Remember, keep in mind, despite the fact that he has an outstanding game today with 2 touchdowns, Paul Spivak has not had a lot of varsity experience in carrying the football. It is 2nd down and goal to go from the 3-yard line. Spivak tries that middle, but Dennis Vavasis is there, number 74, the defensive tackle for Harvard, to prevent any gain on the play or reaching that end zone. Maybe picked up a very tough yard.
They have moved him into the lineup in the 2nd half, and he's 6'2", 235. I think to get a little more strength up front, because that's where Penn attacked them, and that's where Yale's attacked them today. They want a little more beef in there, so they've moved him in there.
3rd down and goal to go. Line of scrimmage, the 3-yard line of Harvard. Luzzy in motion to the right side. Curtin. They give it to McCauley. He tries to hurdle, but gets nowhere. It gets to about the 2-yard line. Everybody was in there. Well, it presents a 4th down play. You're down by 7. There are 26 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter here at Harvard Stadium.
Well, here we go. Do you kick the field goal? Do you go for it? I think I got to go for it.
I got to agree with you.
And I think he will, and I think what he will do is he'll take Mr. Curtin and run him to the wide side of the field with the option to run or throw, sneak the tight end into the end zone.
All right, Yale fans are alive. It is 4th down and goal to go from the 2-yard line of Harvard. No. Steve Anderson brings him down. They wanted to go cross-field again to Marweedy.
The tight end on the other side.
They've used in previous games, but Harvard was ready for it.
This might be the biggest play of the game. We'll take a look at it from the ground level. He's got Spivak in front of him. He's rolling, as we said, to the right. He's looking back to his left on a delay to Marweedy, but number 12 reads the play beautifully and makes the tackle. Perfect play by Steve Anderson, number 12. He cannot get out of his grasp. Down he goes, and that might be the biggest play, offensive or defensive, that Harvard has made all day long. I still say that Yale did the right thing in going for it.
I'm just going to say I agree with you 100%. They did the right play calling, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter. And so at the end of the 3rd quarter, it's Harvard 27, Yale 20, and we have some more information from Sean McDonough.
All right, Dick, we're taking a look at the men's soccer standings in the Ivy League. And as the athletic directors mentioned at halftime, Harvard beat Yale this morning. So Harvard's now 5-2. Just to update that graphic. And Yale falls to 4-2-1. Columbia, as always, the class of the league. However, they were the runners-up in the NCAA tournament last year, the only Ivy school ever to get that far. And this year, Columbia is ranked 6th in the nation, They're seeded first in the East Regionals and will begin their NCAA championships next week against either Hartwick or Syracuse. For the women, the story in the women's division was Brown. They came out, they started their season with 10 straight shutouts, and they've outscored their opponents 38-3. We'll check the women's standings later on. Back to the action.
Brings the ball up to the 15-yard line. No gain on the play.
Well, now Harvard can afford to maybe try and hold on to the ball a little bit. And Anderson, again, maybe made the biggest play of the game. And Curtin trying to roll to the right and come back to Andy Marweedy in the end zone on the left side. Okay, here we go.
2nd down and 10 now for Harvard as Coyne is out wide on that right side. Ryan White pitches to Santiago, bobbles the ball.
He lost it.
And smothered by white jerseys at the 17-yard line. Yale has recovered the bobble by Santiago Carmen Alacqua.
Well, I've always been afraid of handling the ball, and it says this. We're going to take a look at the replay at Robert Santiago, number 14, waiting for the toss on the option from Brian White. Now, he never really gets a hold of the football. It begins to bounce. On the artificial turf, it might have been a better bounce, but 40, Alacqua comes up with the ball. My question is, why the toss at that end of the field with the wind against you?
So Yale comes up with another break and has a first down at the Harvard 17-yard line as Harvard leads by 7, 27-20. McCauley tries the middle, and tough going there, picks up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and about 8 for that first down, as their line of scrimmage will be about the 14-yard line. Brent Wilkinson and Dan Bennett the stop.
Dick, in just, looking at the strategy of the situation, you stop them on a dramatic drive. You get the football back. You want to hold on to the clock a little bit. The wind is against you. You really don't want to toss that ball outside. Too many things can happen down there. It's awful cold. Again, the wind, a big factor.
2nd down and 7 at the 14 of Harvard. Yale trailing. Murata in motion. And Spivak tries that middle. Maybe picks up a yard.
Big tough guy, come on.
As the going is tough up the middle, Finicos making the stop, and Wilkinson.
There's number 40 saying hello, Dick Galliette, and that's the man who recovered the fumble, Carmen Alacqua. He's a little happy. They might just settle for the field goal here because there's plenty of time left in this game, and they've got the win with them now.
Alacqua missed last year with a broken collarbone, started out this year with a broken hand, but played. 3rd down and 5 for Yale at the 13-yard line. Yale wide on that right side. They roll. Here comes Anderson again.
Moriarty's open.
But too far. And do you see the pursuit by number 12, Steve Anderson of Harvard? Just incredible. Chasing Curtin down.
He's done a good job for them all year long, but he's had a big day today because it's been his responsibility as we watch Curtin rolling to the right with both backs in front of him. Now, what he's trying to do as we watch number 12, Steve Anderson, chase him is he's trying to hit in the end zone his favorite receiver, 82, Kevin Moriarty, who had run an out pattern. And here we come with the field goal.
Moore will be attempting a 30-yard field goal. He has hit 34 and 44 this afternoon, missed 45 and 47. This will be a 30-yard attempt. Gets it up and gets it through. And so the score, as Yale picks up 3 more points, is Harvard 27, Yale 23.
We might see the strategy, which has changed. The ebb and flow today has really been unbelievable. We might see the strategy change now with Yale having the wind. I think, again, we go back to the missed touchdown back here where Harvard stopped them. Against the wind, they went for the touchdown. With the wind, they can afford to go for the field goal. They might figure themselves, play good defense, wait for the breaks. With the wind with us, 13:04, we get 3 field goals and win this game.
Because Harvard has 5 turnovers in this football game, and Yale has only 1.
And those 5, I believe, all of them have led, or at least 4 of them have led to a score.
So they are content to say, we'll let our defense set us up. It has been good to us throughout the afternoon. 13:04 remaining in this 4th quarter. A 27-23 Ivy League thriller from Harvard Stadium in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The 101st meeting between Yale and Harvard.
Be interesting to see if Joe Rustic now tells his team, line it up, and let's see if we can grind it out, but let's hand the football off. Let's not toss it.
Again, the deep men for Harvard, as they always are. Rufus Jones, 31. Joe Pusatari, number 42. Bill Moore. This time he goes deep with his kickoff. Comes down to Pusatari at the 10.
Got an opening.
Got an opening, and he was knocked off his feet by Jarkson. Jarkson came across and threw his body at him, and he went down at the 31. Flannery shaken up a little bit on the play for Yale, number 45. He's limping off to the sideline. So Harvard starts off from the 30-yard line, their own. They have a 4-point lead, 27-23.
And it might be their most important possession of the day. They've got to eat some time off that clock.
Line up in the split backfield. Coyne, White on the right-hand side. And White decides to carry. Maybe picks up a yard. Ardell McKenna, Yakabuchi in there quickly. John Zaneski. You just assume he's there.
Yeah, as usual, he is there all day long. One of the things when you run that option, the quarterback keeps it. Remember, he's running from the side, and he's also getting hit from the side, not straight up. And when you do, that ball has a tendency to pop out.
People who are watching this broadcast in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area certainly are thrilling to the delights of John Zaneski, number 69 for Yale. It is 2nd down and 9 for Harvard at the 32-yard line. McNally in motion to the left side. Over the middle to Coyne. Incomplete. And there's a flag on the play.
Guess who got a piece of Brian White? Holding, too. Guess who got a piece?
I don't even have to say, right? Number 69.
On the Pittsburgh Panther, Zaneski got a piece of him, and we got a holding call on top of it. And again, penalties are hurting Harvard. Penalties and mistakes, even though they have the lead.
Captain Steve Abbott checks in.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards.
If you want to see why number 69 going against 63, and it looks like he's holding him or trying to bury him, is considered one of the best linemen, defensive linemen in the East, that will tell you why.
2nd and 18, and Harvard has a triple set on the left-hand side.
Pressure.
And White gets away, but he's got hanging on him the Yves Labissiere, number 73, and he'll go down at the 23-yard line. Labissiere, the sophomore out of Flushing, New York.
Well, that was the same formation that Santiago scored on, but this time too much pressure by the Yale defense. And when you put all those people out there, there are less people you have inside to defend.
3rd down conversion attempt coming up. Harvard is 1 for 8 this afternoon. They have a 3rd down and 16 at the 24 of their own.
It's Santiago and a linebacker.
And incomplete, as he was looking for either Santiago or George Sabara, 14 or 40, but it hit the turf first, so it'll be 4th down coming up for Harvard.
That time, 40 Carmen Alaka, one of the best linebackers, maybe the best. That time he got in front of him and did not let him get position on him.
Steinberg will be punting from his 10. The line of scrimmage is the 24. No pressure. McCauley with a fair catch signal, and he settles for that naturally at the 44-yard line. Flannery, whom we mentioned being injured on the kickoff, has a bruised knee, we are told, for Yale. 11:33 remaining in this 4th quarter.
And Yale again takes over. Good field position, wind in their favor. They can take their time. There's plenty of time. Control the clock.
They trail by 4, 27-23.
Harvard defense might have to win this game today.
Yale has Moriarty wide on that left. Luzzy shifts and in motion from the left side to the right. Spivak, no gain there at the line of scrimmage. He has Jim Morris hanging on him, the defensive right end, sophomore from Melrose, Massachusetts.
74 also Dennis Vivassis, who has played pretty well since they put him in there, as we said, for the extra beefing up of that defensive line, and I think that's cut off some of the problems they've had, although Yale, again, when they get inside the 30, they can move it.
Yale's just put in Tom Jurowitz, number 25, in at wingback on the 2nd and 11 coming up from the 42.
They're coming.
And incomplete. Moriarty, an intended receiver, and Brian Bergstrom, number 27, covering him. John McDonough.
Well, Dick and Upton, I know I speak for all three of us when I pass along our congratulations to Coach Jerry Burnt and his Pennsylvania Quakers. Pennsylvania has defeated Cornell 24-0 this afternoon at Ithaca, and they go through the Ivy season unbeaten and win their third straight Ivy League championship. So congratulations to Jerry and his staff. We'll have more scores after this play.
Back here at Cambridge at Harvard Stadium, Yale has a 3rd down and 11 at their own 42, trailing Harvard 27-23. Mike Curtin out to McCauley. McCauley cuts, and McCauley gets it down to about the 46-yard line, but it's, I think, close to that 1st down. Peter Mackey wrote him down, and Marty Martinson and Jerry Wozlowski opened up with good blocks.
Was set up beautifully from a drop-back position, setting up the screen to the right side, over top of the linebackers to McCauley. He's got Wozlowski out in front of him. Watch him follow his blocks. 1st down.
1st down, it's called at the 45 on Harvard. Murata in motion to the left side.
Got time.
Curtin looking for Moriarty, but too high. Incomplete. And so, 2nd and 10. Sean McDonough has more for us.
We have 2 other final scores in. Florida has defeated Kentucky 25-17, and the Temple Owls on a late field goal beat West Virginia 19-17. Other games still in progress. Boston College leads Syracuse 24-16. They are late in the 4th quarter. And it is Navy all over South Carolina 38-15. What a big upset there in the 4th quarter. More in a moment.
We have a 2nd down and 10 here. Yale wide on both sides at the 45 of Harvard. They try the draw with Spivak. And he's going to go down at the 41, so he'll pick up about 4 on that play. Casey Smith and Brian Bergstrom driving him out of bounds. And I guess Sean has some more information for us.
Elsewhere, hang on to your hat. Notre Dame 44, Penn State 7. They're in the 4th quarter. 3rd quarter, Maryland 27, Clemson 23. Ohio State is on its way to Pasadena. The Buckeyes out in front of Michigan 21-6 in that annual rivalry. Oklahoma State leads Iowa State 13-10. And it's Virginia 17, North Carolina 14 in the 3rd quarter.
And here we have Yale with a 3rd and 6 at the Harvard 41. Mike Curtin. Nowhere.
He's trying those crossing patterns and trying to get Moriarty where he has a little room to run in the center of the field, but they've done a good job of defending that. This is the first time that they really stopped Yale in this half and stopped any concerted drive.
And so we look at Hank Eaton taking the field for the first time in a while. Yale's punter, number 23. You have Chuck Shirey back there at around the 10 for Harvard.
I would move him off the field. I would put him so far away from that football.
Lazy spiral. Fair catch signal for, but does it make the end zone? No, it does not. And Yale downs the ball on the 1-yard line. Paul Weimer does that. A 40-yard punt. And so Harvard has its back against the wall with very alert kick coverage down there.
Which means if Yale plays good defense, they're going to get the football back probably inside the 50-yard line. It's still with 9:23 left in the game.
Weimer from Upper Montclair, New Jersey, a senior at Yale. No, Harvard with a first and 10 from their own 1-yard line. They're lined up in the end zone. And the call goes to Vignali, and he is hit quickly as he picks up maybe a yard. Ardell McKenna was there to meet him head on. Steve Penders helped.
He met him right in the hole. He almost tackled him in the backfield.
9:08 and the clock running in this 4th period. Harvard with a 4-point lead, 27-23. Early in the 1st quarter, Harvard had a 14-0 lead. And Yale scored 20 unanswered points. 2nd down and 10, Harvard. Vignali again gets the call and gets out to about the 3. There's a flag on the play.
I think if Vignali did not step over number 81 or skip over Bob Keenan, he would have been tackled again in the backfield.
Blocking below the waist against Harvard.
Mistakes, penalties.
No place to penalize them when you're on the 2 anyway.
You got a slide rule.
You lose the down.
You lose the down, and your offense has lost any momentum that they picked up in the beginning of the 2nd half. Defense very good.
Out of the waist. Offense, decline.
That's Steve Abbott saying he was out further than usual. That's what you have the captain for, right? In a big game.
He has a string going for himself. Steve Abbott has never played on a football team that has not won a title, dating back to high school.
Well, it just was broken when Penn beat Cornell.
Yep. Third down and 8. For Harvard at their own 3-yard line.
He's going to throw it.
And goes down at the 1. Ardell McKenna, or Yakabuchi rather, Dean Yakabuchi, number 55.
Boy.
Puts him down on the 1.
You know what? If he's tackled in the end zone, this is where I don't agree with this at all. We'll see the replay. Brian White has some time to throw. He's looking both ways. Great coverage by Yale. Now here comes Yves Labissiere, number 73, and he's tackled from the back. And I'll tell you something. They get the wait for this kick.
Here's Steinberg. Hurries to get it away. McCauley takes it on the run. And is going to go nowhere. Made the fatal mistake of stopping Frank Ciota, defensive back number 44, the first to hit him for Harvard. But Yale will have the ball at the Harvard 45-yard line after that 49-yard punt.
Dick, let's get back to play calling and strategy. You're down there and your man is tackled in the end zone. That's 2 points. It makes it 27-25. Yale gets the football, controls it, kicks the field goal, and wins the game.
That's right. You're absolutely correct.
Good coverage, by the way, just saw on McCauley by the entire Harvard team.
But Yale has not been able to move the football in the last few series as Harvard's defense has shut them down. And they have a 27-23 lead, does Harvard, with 7:53 remaining in this football game. Mike Curtin. And he lugs it for about 9 yards down to around the 36-yard line. Casey Smith rides him down, and Ken Tarzi also comes up on the play.
We've also got, for the first time, I think, today, Rick Coase, number 31, into the game. What's that tell you? They're going to try a little power football.
Coase is the junior out of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, 6 foot, 197-pounder. So you have Spivak, 43, and Rick Coase, the deep back in the eye, on this 2nd and 1. And Coase gets the call and picks up the first down as he gets close to the 31-yard line. You always wonder on that first carry in a cold afternoon.
Drop the football. Well, you know, we're seeing what Yale's plan is. Once they penetrate inside that 40, they go back to power football. They have now gotten the game in their formation. 2 tight ends. They've got number 14. There's Koza looking on. His hands are probably cold, but they're playing with 2 tight ends, Quinlivan and Marwidi, and they want to go to the power game.
First down, Yale at the 30. Spivak gets the call. Spivak gets a little room. And Spivak is driven out of bounds inside the 10-yard line at the 8-yard line. And Spivak driven out by Ken Tarzi, but he moved behind the blocking of Wesolowski and Squara.
And we're going to see it right here. Both the guard and the tackle moves. He comes in behind the tackle, number 71, Paul Weimer. I'll watch him come down that sideline, looking to try and get as much yardage as possible. The angle on him by number 85, Tarzi, but he makes a great run of it.
Yale has a 1st and goal to go from the 7-yard line of Harvard. They trail 27-23. Coase gets the call. Coase is down to the 2. He's gang tackled down at the 2-yard line. That's Dan Bennett and Brian Bergstrom riding him down. Maybe closer to the 3.
Back to their power game.
We're told that Ted McCauley is on the sidelines with a bruised knee, number 26 for Yale, but he will be back in the action. It is 2nd down and goal to go from the 3-yard line of Harvard. Yale lines up in the eye. They give it to Spivak. He slices and he pushes, but he's going to be stopped at the 2-yard line. Anderson and Cox will not budge.
The question is, in budging, how much longer can that Harvard defense be on the field and not give up the touchdown?
Yale's got to go for the TD. Spivak has 98 yards on 23 carries and 2 touchdowns.
If they don't make it, I don't think they have to, Dick. I'd kick the field goal.
It is 3rd down and goal to go for Yale from the 3-yard line of Harvard. McCauley hurdles, and McCauley is not in. is not in. He's at the 1.
Casey Smith got him right in the air. That was a case of trying to dive too early. You've got to be careful when you do it. To me, I kicked the field goal. There's 5:22 left. You're going to get the ball back again. Here's McCauley diving, I think, too early. He's going to come up over the top with his back leading. Number 18 meets him in the hole. See, helmet to helmet. What a hell of a shot that is.
All right, Yale's going to go. 4th down, goal to goal from the 1-yard line. Yale trails 27-23. They line up in the I. Murata in motion to the right-hand side. They give it to McCauley. Touchdown! Touchdown! McCauley hurdled into the end zone, and Yale has gone back out in front.
Well, that was all on second effort because it did not look like he made it initially. Remember, all you have to do as the fans go crazy, and he does too, is break the plane of the goal line. For a man being injured, he took 2 leaps in the air, exposed his body, and the second time we're going to see it. From the I formation, Spivak, the lead blocker, meets the man in the hole. He's initially hit in the air again by 18 Casey Smith, but they said he had enough.
All right, Yale has gone back out in front, 29-27. Moore will be attempting the extra point. Gets it up and splits the uprights, and Yale has taken a 3-point lead, 30-27 over Harvard, and what a thriller this is.
Well, not only that, we're back again in the game of strategy in football, the ultimate of strategy. Now it's 3 points. If Harvard gets down there on their drive, they're going to be forced now to go for the touchdown if they want to win. There's Carm Koza, and I'm sure he's aware of it. He's talking to his defensive strategist. Harvard, though, will not have the wind with them.
Let's not forget that missed extra point.
Yep. That is correct.
That was when Harvard went out in front 27-20. The missed extra point would have given them, the extra point would have given them the 8-point lead, but they had to settle for the 7. Yale since then has come back with the field goal of 30 yards and McCauley's 3-yard hurdle in the air for the go-ahead touchdown.
And again, the mistakes of your offense, the kicking game, the penalties have really hurt Harvard, and also the decision by Carm Koza to go for the touchdown. I probably would have kicked the field goal with enough time left to come back with the win in my favor. He went for it, and the guy barely made it, so it's 6 points.
And we still have a long way to go. 4 minutes and 56 seconds left to play in this football game from Harvard Stadium. The last game of the season for both of these teams, as it always is. The 101st meeting between these two institutions. Bill Moore booms it. Comes down to Pusatari at the 5, 10, 15, and just stormed under at the 20. John Shannon down there first, number 28 for Yale on the kick coverage. As the snow flurries continue in a fading sunset over Harvard Stadium.
You're going to get that Grant and Rice Award yet. No 4:50 left. This might be very last Harvard drive of the season.
There's the arithmetic. 3 minutes and 2 seconds consumed off the clock on Yale's go-ahead touchdown. Harvard with plenty left in them, however. That number 7 is a magnificent quarterback, Brian White, and he has an equally talented team. First down, Harvard at their own 21. Looking for, and it's incomplete. Almost intercepted back there by Penders.
What a shot Brian White took, and that's why he almost had the interception. He really took a shot by number 84 of Yale.
Pat Maloney.
Pat Maloney gave him a shot. Maloney hurt himself on the play. Watch 84 with a clear shot at White as he's delivering the football. As you can see, the football went over the head of Santiago and almost into the hands of number 40, Carmen Alacqua.
All right, Harvard with a second down and 10. On the 21, flag is dropped.
Zaneski says McGaw moved. Of course, Zaneski's so fast, he thinks anybody moves and moves faster than him.
Brian White, by the way, has put the ball up 9 times this afternoon, completed 5. And it's Yale this time who is penalized for 140 yards. White has passing and 2 touchdowns. We have 4:44 remaining in the football game. In penalties this afternoon, Harvard has been penalized 7 times for 50 yards.
Offside. Here.
Second down.
And Yale 4 times for 22 yards. It is 2nd down and 5 for Harvard at the 26. Santiago wants to go wide. But Penders, and rather Tony Resch, number 49, has him around the ankles as he tries to cut it back. At the 25. So it'll be 3rd down and 6 for the first down.
They're not going to let them outside. They're making sure if Harvard's going to score, they're going to have to throw it, or their backs are going to have to make great cuts to the inside to get the big yardage. They are not going to let them around the corner.
Well, it is 3rd down and 6 now for Harvard at their own 25. McNally in motion. White rolls to the left, cuts it back himself, loses the football, fumbles the ball, and Yale is recovered. Yale is recovered at the 31-yard line.
Bob Keenan, it looks like number 81.
81, Bob Keenan, that's who it is. Gets off the bottom of the pile. And Mr. Ardell McKenna put the hit, number 56.
Well, that's a 3rd down call. It's a little surprising. You want your quarterback running the option on 3rd down. And here's the replay of it. He's going to the left. He has Santiago as a pitch man, but he decides he's going to cut in behind. His back is into the play. We've talked about that a couple times all day long. When you're running on an angle and you can't see who's hitting you, you're going to lose the football.
All right, Mike Curtin has a 1st down at the 31 of Harvard.
They'll keep it.
And he takes it to the 25, picks up about 6. Steve Anderson, number 12, rides him down, the defensive end for Harvard. Joe Rustick concerned in turnovers today. Here's the story, Upton. Harvard 6, Yale 1, all fumbles.
All the things that lead to scores, and now the clock a factor. Yale wanting to run as much time off the clock, get field position, and see if they can kick another field goal.
Murata in motion to the left side, and Coase gets the call to the 21-yard line. Picks up about 4 on that. It'll be close to the 1st down. Cecil Cox, the one who puts the stopper on him.
Harm Coase is running the 2 tight ends in and out, and he's using 2 tight ends, and he's using Coase and McCauley, and he's running that clock down.
And they'll bring him into measure. He's always used his tight ends. He's always liked his tight ends as messengers. Always has done that since he came to Yale. Well, that's the distance, and you see it, how close it is. It'll be 3rd down, less than a yard for the 1st down. The line of scrimmage, the 22-yard line of Harvard. 3:18 to play in the football game. Spivak gets the 1st down and plenty more as he goes inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. You have Wilkinson and Bergstrom riding him to the turf.
Spivak and Cecil Cox is getting into a little bit, but it's understandable. The defense wants to try and steal the football because the clock is stealing their chance for victory.
And a player is down on the field. I believe it's a Yale player shaken up. It might be Spivak, who has played magnificently this afternoon with 2 touchdowns for the Elias.
It's like his right foot, right ankle. They're working on his ankle. No way he's going to come out of this game.
All that time sitting on the bench was all culminated this afternoon for this young man, number 43. 98 yards rushing on 24 carries and 2 touchdowns. 1st down Yale at the 17 of Harvard as they put Moriarty out wide on the right. Leslie the wing and now goes in motion to the right side. Burton keeps, slices inside the 50.
Dropped the ball.
And retained possession, according to the official. Steve Anderson put the hit on it. Line of scrimmage will be the 12.
There's Paul Spivak running up and down the sideline. He says everything's okay, Ma. I'm going back in this game. He'd probably like to score and make it 3 TDs.
Why not, huh? You have that kind of a day going for you. One you'll never forget. No matter who you play for in your final game, if you get that kind of an afternoon. 2nd down and 4. The 12-yard line of Harvard. Rick Coase, number 31. He gets close to the 7-yard line, so it's a 5-yard pickup. Brent Wilkinson and Casey Smith are there to make the hit for Harvard.
Harm Coase has put in his 2 original, his fullback and his tailback. He's got Klein and Coase in there, and Klein has a big kind of cast on his arm, and they've got a first down, too.
Another first down, so it is 1st and goal to go Yale at the 7-yard line of Harvard. Paul Spivak back in the lineup, number 43 for Yale. Coase in the lineup as well in the backfield. Marweedy out on the right side. Quinlan on the left side. 1st and goal to go from the 7. Luzzy in motion. And they give it to Spivak. And Spivak drives to the 1. Touchdown, but there's a flag on the play. He gets to the end zone, but there's a flag on the play.
I think they're going to call it on number 54, the left guard, George Matthews. And brother, this game is not over with yet.
A minute and 46 seconds left to play in the football game. Yale has a 3-point lead, 30-27. Well, the 7-yard touchdown run is called back. It would have been Spivak's 3rd of the game.
That also changes of what you want to call, although you probably still want to keep the ball on the ground, run that clock down. So take the field goal.
Holding on the offense. No score. What do we got?
Harvard has 2 timeouts left in the football game. Yale has their 3. It is 1st down and goal to go from the 11-yard line, so all this still consumes time off the clock. That's what Yale wants to do with the 3-point lead. Spivak again. He carries down close to the 6-yard line. He picks up 5 on that carry. And Harvard has called what appears to be timeout. It is timeout called by the Crimson, so they're down to 1 timeout.
One thing, Dick, while we take this timeout, I forgot to mention at halftime, we really do want to thank Mark Curran and Carol Corfasco and Ed Markey, that's of Yale, and Ed Markey of Harvard, and Gil Kerr for putting together really that fine piece at halftime with Bud Collins. Really all the film and all the tape from the library and people and Gil Kerr put together. It was great. We really want to thank them.
Superb effort. Now I want to thank my spotter today, Andy Lynchko, for one magnificent job up here in the booth with us. We have a 2nd down and goal to go as the coaching brain trusts on both sides of the field confer with their combatants in the closing minute and 40 of this ball game. Remember that Harvard had a 14-0 lead early in the 1st quarter. The first 2 times they touched the ball, they went in for scores.
Well, also they appeared to come back in the 2nd half and take control of the football game again. And then the fumble by Santiago, the fumble by White, it just really hurt this club.
A 52-yard pass play to Santiago for the touchdown early in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down, goal to go for Yale from the Harvard 7. Rick Coase inside the 5, down to the 3. Rick Coase the ball carrier. Wilkinson and Bennett ride him down. Coase had 351 yards rushing this season for Yale, 2 touchdowns. You know, if you added up the 5 leading rushing backs for Yale, they would still come up 191 yards short rushing between Vignali and Santiago.
But the score reads 30-27. Time is running out.
In this, the final game of the season. As Joe Restic said yesterday, he calls this game the beginning of a new season, the Yale-Harvard game. Timeouts left. Harvard is out of them. Yale has their full complement.
Harvard called a timeout, and that's right. They are out of them now. Now you can essentially sit on the football. I mean, you can score. You know, I might really take my time. I don't know what I want to score right away. I'm going to tell my quarterback to run around for a while because I don't want Harvard to have the football back anyway, even if you think it's out of reach.
The line of scrimmage is the 2-yard line. It is 3rd down and goal to go for Yale from the Harvard 2. The score is Yale 30, Harvard 27 with a minute 24 seconds left to play before the sellout crowd here at Harvard Stadium. Yale lines up in a split backfield. It's Spivak and Coase. And Spivak gets the call but gets nowhere. I believe he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage and certainly not much more. So that brings up a 4th down.
Now what do you do?
Well, I think I got to go for it.
Well, you want to go for it. You want the clock to run out.
Keep running.
You're not going to get all the time run off. If you don't make it, Harvard has got about 40, 30 seconds to see if they can come down and tie the football game up. So just, you think about it. Do you kick the field goal, which makes them have to score a touchdown, or do you go to the touchdown? If you miss it, they can tie the game with a field goal.
45 seconds and the clock running down. 4th down goal to go from the 2. They give it to McCauley.
Nope.
No way.
Didn't make it.
They didn't let him leap that time because Mackey went right for his legs.
All right, they have no timeouts. Remember, the clock only stops, Dick, when they get the first down. So what Harvard did paid off. Hey, it's easy for me to say it. I'd have kicked the field goal and make them do it. But they feel that the clock has run out. They've only got 39 seconds to do it. But you've seen crazier things happen with this series than I have.
Well, anybody who ever sat through that tie here in '68 will believe in anything in a football game. You have 39 seconds left to play in this football game, and Harvard has the ball on their own 2-yard line.
And they're going to have to throw the sidelines.
And White fires for that sideline to toss. And Coyne is brought down at the 15-yard line. That'll stop the clock because it is a first down. Dooley made the tackle. Tom Dooley.
It stops the clock, and he almost was able to toss to Vignali, which they're going to look for. They're going to pass to the sideline and look for a back to come along as a trailer.
Or a burner, like Santiago. First down at the 16. They go to the sideline. There's Santiago. He's going to run it out of bounds. So that stops the clock at 26 seconds at the 16-yard line.
We probably have had more strategy in this game today, go back and forth, than in most football games you'll see in a full season.
You might be right, Upton. They say went out at the 14-yard line. So it is 2nd down and 12. There was no gain on that. A loss, actually, of 2 yards. Line of scrimmage, the 14-yard line of Harvard. Harvard, of course, is split on both sides. And going down deep, and Jarkson kicks it off.
That's it.
And Jarkson takes it down to the 10-yard line with 14 seconds on the clock. Left to play.
Hey, after the game, go out to see the girl in the front.
And out come the white handkerchiefs.
And they're all from the Yale side, too. And, of course, it's a great Joe Rustic. As we look at him, it's got to be a terrible disappointment for him. Maybe one of the great upsets for Carm Koza. His season and culminating in this game, assuming the clock will run out with 14 seconds. All they have to do is sit on the football. They do not have to call another play after this.
In a game that saw Harvard with 7 turnovers, and Yale won. All right. Yale with the ball, just running it out now. And that should do it as the clock runs down. 8 seconds, 7. And Yale has capped a magnificent season, ending it 6-3 by beating Harvard this afternoon 30-27.
Well, everybody in the stands is happy. The Yale players, Mike Curtin is certainly happy. This is the greatest way for him to go out. But I think the man that will never forget this day is number 43, Paul Spivak, a guy who was seldom used the last week. And we want to take a look at Carmen Koza. Dick, you've known him for a long time. You look at this reaction. He takes his headset off, puts it down, begins to hug. It looks to me like he's got tears in his eyes. This has to cap his greatest comeback in his career, his greatest season. And in the game, a lot of people thought that Harvard would dominate. Everything went right. Everything that he did went right. The only thing that you can look at the end is how it is. And we got
we have the happy man down on the sideline with Sean McDonough.
You're absolutely right, Dick. Carm Koza is very happy. Dick Elliott, your good friend, said at the beginning of our telecast that you kind of relish the role of coming in here to Harvard Stadium as the underdog. And if your team didn't play like an underdog, they've got a very gutty performance against this Harvard team.
Through the years, you never want to come into this game as a favorite. It seems like the underdog does the unexpected, and if we were the underdog, we did the unexpected. But I'll tell you, our kids all year long have come from behind to win. This is the 4th time. Not quite as sensational as we did last week, but I'll tell you, they're great, and I'm so happy for these 31 seniors.
I think, Carm, a key to the game was when you went down 14-0, your team never lost its poise.
A lot of courage. There's a lot of character on this team. They endured 2 tough years, and they know what it was like to be behind. And I'll tell you, they're great competitors, and I'm really proud of them.
Some of your personnel. I know you touted John Zaneski as a potential Ivy League Player of the Year. In your opinion, did he do anything to hurt his chances of that today?
Not in my opinion. He's a great football player. He's a great competitor. You know, he's so hard to block, and he helps the rest of our defense because they have to double team him, do an awful lot of things to keep him out of the backfield.
This is a great game, and you've been around so many great Harvard-Yale games in the past. Where does this one fit in? Is this as far as the great games go?
This comes up to the top, especially because we won it.
Well, let me ask you one other quick question. You've won so many games from come-from-behind fashion. Were you at all concerned when Harvard got the ball back with that great backfield that they have and all those explosive weapons that might be able to pull a come-from-behind victory off against you?
It always can happen, and I warned our people when they were excited before that. I said, this game is not over, and it wasn't over, like Yogi says, until it's over, and that's the way it ended.
Carm, I know after a 1-9 season last year, that's going to make this even so much sweeter.
You bet it does. Super. I'm really happy. Thank you.
On behalf of myself, Upton Bell, and Dick Elliott, congratulations.
Thank you very
Great
much.
for your
Thank
time.
you.
Let's go back to the booth.
Well, back up here in the booth, and there you see the final score. But the young man, Paul Spivak, had 103 yards rushing for Yale and 2 touchdowns. That'll be the story of this football game. And Curtin directed them magnificently, but the Yale defense will get all the plaudits as well. They earned every bit of them, capturing those 7 turnovers.
Well, we have the Dick Elliott Car of the Game Award. I guess you'll be giving it to Spivak, and it certainly deserves it. I would have to say that not only was it a tremendous season and enjoyable working with you and Sean, but also this was one of the most exciting football games, mistakes or none, I think I've ever seen.
How could we ever cap? You can't cap a season better than this. Sean McDonough down on the sideline.
All right, Mike Curtin, congratulations, first of all. When you're down 14-0, were you guys at all concerned about your ability to come back?
I don't think so. You know, we came back at Penn, not quite enough, unfortunately, and we've been coming back all season. I think we had our backs to the wall, but we certainly weren't counting ourselves out. I think that was pretty obvious.
All right, Mike, we got to run real quick. We had John Zaneski here. John, you played a terrific game. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Let's go back to the booth.
All right, and there you have it, the wrap-up of this football game. And so we could go on endlessly with thank yous, Upton Bell. And this is the first season of Ivy League Football Game of the Week telecast. And a superb pleasure for me to be able to work with you and in on these telecasts, and we certainly have enjoyed every moment of it. And so from Harvard Stadium, where Yale has defeated Harvard 30-27, this is Dick Elliott for Upton Bell and Sean McDonough, wishing all of you a very pleasant good day.
Ivy League football is brought to you by The Travelers, people responsive to people with insurance and financial service needs. The Travelers, where fairness is good business. GTE, the company whose products include both microwave and satellite communication systems around the world. American Brands, Inc., a group of related packaged goods and service companies whose brand names have become household bywords. And by
American Express, cards, traveler's checks, and vacation stores. American Express. Don't leave home without us.
The producer of Ivy League football is Greg Harney. Director, Ralph Mollet. Coordinating producer, Gil Kerr. Associate producer, Pauline McCants. Engineer in charge, Bronislaw Kroll. This program was produced by Greg Harney Productions Incorporated, in association with Trans World International. This is the Eastern Educational Network.
This is Channel 2 Boston, public television for New England.